Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Fish and Grits Live. I am Ryan, joined by as always, by my two very wonderful co-hosts, Mr. or Senor Marco Restrepo.
Hola. Since
What's
we're all
up,
doing
buddy?
weird voices here.
Just came out of left field, decided to roll with it. What's up, sir? How you doing? How you feeling?
Good, man. Shot around some basketball today, ran through some drills,
Did some shooty hoops.
shooty hoops.
As I get back into shape here, I'm like, all right, if I can get back down to around the 200 mark, definitely going to get back on the court.
Yeah, but I feel like all the courts I go to are all like summer camped out right now. So I have to be out in the sun at Shady Valley, even though there's no
Yikes.
shade at Shady Valley. I burned
At Bernie Valley.
at Bernie Valley. Man, I was sweating up a storm.
Popped a molly, I'm sweating. Micah, how are you doing, sir, as your Braves continue to fumble around and not know what they're doing?
Very good. There's trade-off. I'll take it. I'll take the trade-off.
We'll get to that later. I'm going to continue the trend. I'm not really going to talk about current events. There's not a lot of stuff that I want to discuss. There's some sensitive stuff that I will also bypass. But today is June 30th, 2021. We are actually recording on a Wednesday because yesterday
Was a Wednesday.
back-to-back Wednesdays. But yeah, for those of y'all that follow us on Instagram, you probably saw our post that we will be recording today instead of yesterday because the Hawks obviously played. And if I'm me watching a show, or if I'm you, I'm not watching us. I'm watching the show. Plus, we wanted to watch too.
Right. If that's not important to you, then maybe you should tune off.
Maybe this isn't the show for you. I don't know if y'all know, but we like sports around here. It's kind of,
Especially Atlanta ones.
Fish and Grits. I know y'all thought this was a cooking show. I know y'all been waiting. You're almost 60 episodes in. You're like, maybe they'll get to cooking this week. Sorry to tell you, but it ain't gonna happen.
We got to bring Flu on one
We
day.
do like food, yeah. I definitely need to bring Flu on because, man, I can't wait to have some more Fish and Grits, actually.
There's plenty of off season though. In the summer, we're gonna have a lot of space to.
Yeah. What do we talk about? Let's talk about food, and let's talk about. That's probably when you'll see a lot of our movie reviews and stuff like that start going up.
When the NBA is over and there's nothing else on but baseball.
Like, yep. Well, the Braves are currently on a 6-game losing streak.
The suicide squeeze segment lasts for an hour, and now we're talking about something else.
Hey, look, I've been talking about quite a bit of football in this offseason, but I know we had the draft. This is probably when my football segments are start going.
Yeah.
Have y'all seen the movie Eddie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never saw Eddie. That's
Eddie?
another one. Throw that on
Yeah,
the list.
with Whoopi Goldberg. She
Whoopi.
takes over coaching the Knicks.
I might have seen it.
Wow, I forgot about that movie. Yes,
I might have seen bits and pieces of it, but I don't remember it that
Oh,
well.
man.
We should throw that on the list.
Matter of fact, she might have been a better coach for the Knicks than Tom Thibodeau right now. I'm just saying.
It'd be Knicks versus Bucks right now if Eddie was coaching.
Did you know Tom Thibodeau was Larry Johnson's shooting coach?
Wait, what? The defensive guru trying to teach somebody how to shoot?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
if
what-
I remember right, Larry Johnson couldn't really shoot either.
Yeah.
No, he hit some important game winners, but no, he was not known as a shooter.
God,
Speaking of shooting, go ahead, Micah. My bad.
that's like, yeah, I was Shaq's shooting coach back in the day.
Oh, Shaq's free throw coach.
Yeah, we can't hire you. There's just something. I don't think we're going to be a good fit.
Right. It's like, I saw this
Culturally
hilarious
speaking.
joke. This hilarious joke on your resume. It said Shaq's free throw coach.
So yeah, that's what I really did. Oh,
Ooh.
Ben Simmons shooting coach.
how do I say this? This isn't going to work out. It's not you, it's me. Actually, no, it's you.
It's us. It's not you. we're just looking for something a little different.
I.e., not you.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Oh, I don't have my. Damn, I took my sneakers off. I can't do it. Yeah, do y'all hear that?
Oh my God, that sounds like the layup, aka the finger roll, aka no.
Yep, jelly time.
Yeah, go ahead. See, now that we have the things, I can't even jelly time, aka points in the paint.
Don't worry, I'll edit it out on in the audio version.
It's all. I like my organic mistakes. So, what do we got to get in today? There's a lot of basketball stuff going on. Before we get into the playoff stuff, which is heavy playoff stuff. I usually like to talk about, some more lighthearted peripheral news. And today we're going to start with a guy who's, it's debatable whether he's, it's hard. It's difficult to where to.
What are you saying, Marco?
I'm just saying, I don't know how to contextualize Scottie Pippen because I feel like from his peers, he gets a lot of disrespect as opposed to how good he thinks he is. But to himself, he's like a top 5 player all time. But I don't think anybody who's actually good thinks he's a top 5 player of all time.
Scottie Pippen thinks I'm a really good player, and Scottie Pippen, it was one of the best defenders on the team. And
he does talk like that. Why does he talk like that? He's always like Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen's like, wait, is Scottie?
Are you speaking in the third person, Scottie?
Right.
Scottie Pippen is speaking in the third person.
So basically, he's been on a book and rum tour. I guess he has a rum out, in a book where he's righting all the wrongs that Michael Jordan has casted in him in over these years of being a bad teammate, coming up small in big spots, generally, playing his role is basically what Michael Jordan, sort of makes him to be. And Scottie Pippen has been getting on all these shows over the past couple of weeks and making a lot of headlines. And it's interesting. I must note his look. He sort of looks unhinged. Like he has the Vegeta haircut.
That ain't Vegeta. That's oh man, that's Cynthia from the Rugrats.
Looking, it's almost like, is he playing a character right now? But anyway, so basically, he initially, y'all can sort of like clear up what the quotes actually were if y'all have some context here. But what he said about KD was basically that KD has never led a team, and even though he's skilled, that he's basically taking shots at him in favor of LeBron. He even went as far as to say that LeBron won titles without any help, which is just like he can't mean that. And then the most recent one was he actually I called him, what's the guy's name who does like the real thoughtful interviews? Dan Patrick. He was on the Dan Patrick show, and Dan was pretty much asking him about that Luke Longley play, and that if somehow him not drawing up the play for Scottie means that Phil was a racist.
You mean Tony Kukoc?
Tony Kukoc, yeah.
The play was, it was Tony Kukoc. You said Luke Longley.
Oh, my bad.
One of the other white guys on the
One
team.
of the other white guys. Who's the racist here? No? No, so Phil Jackson, he accused him of being a racist. Or Dan sort of framed the question in that way, and then Scottie was just sort of like, well, I don't have a problem saying that.
Well, after the third attempt, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
He was like, well, does that imply that you mean that he's racist?
Like, well, that's what that says.
I don't have a problem saying that. Like, good God, what? What?
Every black player that has ever played for Phil was like.
Well, so I want to get y'all's opinions on because I found some further context about the whole Phil Jackson being a racist thing, but I want to just get y'all's opinion. What's going on with Scottie right now? Is he just trying to sell books? Is he what is he going through? I mean, his son is about to be in the league. Shouldn't he be focused on that?
You do remember his wife is messing with Future, and so he might not have recovered from that for all I know. This dude is You know, his wife for the streets.
Oh,
You
Larsa.
know, he's going through some stuff, but like in one of the interviews, he was critical of Jordan, talking about he was selfish for going to play baseball during their runs, and it was like, but didn't like you're critical of him for going to play baseball, but you were the same one who sat out, who held out most of the season for a contract dispute. You basically you waited to get surgery right before the season started because you were mad about your contract. Like, bruh, you can't be critical of him and you were just as toxic. Like, bruh, like get out of here, man. It's like I get it. Like I initially tried to ride with Pippen. Like, you know, I do think KD tried to do a little too much, and you know, he tried to play hero ball a little bit too much, and I don't necessarily say he was the reason they lost, but you know, he was threw up some bad shots, and you know they lost. Okay, I can say that. You know, now granted, you trying to put using that as a way to boost LeBron up even more. Oh, he's won with nobody, and it's like I don't know about all that, but you know, I do agree that KD did play a little selfish at times, or not selfish, but he
Just heroish.
yeah, he played a little too much hero ball, and it hurt him at times. But everything other than that, it's just like, Scottie, get some help, bro, because I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I mean, Scottie's gone through a lot here recently. He just lost a child, didn't he? Within the last year.
Yeah, his oldest son
Yeah.
passed away on, was it March 3rd or something?
Yeah, very recently. So I mean, he's lost a child. That's devastating enough.
Yeah.
His wife cheated on him with Future, Malik Beasley, and Tristan Thompson.
Ugh.
Like
I didn't know Larsa got with Tristan too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh my god.
She out here in these streets, bro.
She
Tristan's one of the funniest NBA players ever.
like the Future thing. I get, like he's a rapper. He's got that appeal. He's the bad boy and all that type of stuff. But like
Malik Beasley went to jail.
Malik Beasley and Tristan Thompson aren't anywhere on Scottie Pippen's level. So it's like, you know, comparatively speaking here, you go from like a Hall of Famer to a guy who, you know, people will remember his name more so for him playing with LeBron and dating a Kardashian than his basketball career, and then a guy who's in jail.
Yeah, but right. I mean, because Larsa was close to the Kardashians, she probably heard stuff about Tristan that she probably shouldn't have heard and wanted to see for herself. And
ooh,
yikes!
You know, and then Malik Beasley went to jail.
Osworthy.
Like Malik Beasley, he was one of those guys at Florida State that had so much promise, and then got into the league and oops.
And then he started cheating on his wife and threatening her with guns.
Oh, God, what happened with that anyway?
It was weird all season because they kept saying that, you know, he was gonna go to jail, but then he kept playing. But then I'm imagining he must be doing jail time now, unless they just keep on pushing it back. I don't know how that works.
I'm so glad that they turned down that trade because Malik Beasley could have been in Atlanta.
Oh my God, we wouldn't have made it past the Knicks with Malik Beasley in Atlanta.
Oh man,
who are we supposed to be like? What was the trade? I don't remember.
It was nonsense. There's no point in even.
Was it Bokey?
It was John Collins.
Oh yeah.
It was something revolving
it's
around
like,
John Collins.
Yeah, like it was like Collins for like Beasley, another player, and like a draft pick.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, we don't want to do that. And it's like,
good job, Travis.
Thank you.
Way to go, Travis.
Thanks.
No. We offered that trade. They turned it down.
Oh God.
Like I said, allegedly. Well, there's no point in even talking about this. It didn't happen. But what I did want to bring up was about Phil Jackson. The one thing that, because everybody remembers when he wrote that book when he was like in the Knicks office, and basically the thing that he said, which you could sort of take this racist or not. It's almost just, I feel like it's just out of touch with the time. But he basically was saying that from his experience, black players usually were individuals and would always want to, like, you know, try to shine on their own or prove that they were the best. So they would always go out of their way to be individualistic. And then he said white players were better team players and could more easily buy into a scheme. And he went as far as to say that, like, on the Knicks, he had the front court was a whole bunch of team players, and then the back court was a whole bunch of guys playing black guy basketball. That's like,
oh, he said black guy basketball?
Yeah, he like said direct things like
that.
Now
that part is racist. All the other part, you know, yes, it is prejudiced in a way, but I'm going to apply some logic to it here. And don't worry, I'm not going to get us canceled. So I think there's a reason behind that. And I think that is true and to some extent. But the reason behind it is because the white guys don't have the talent, or at least especially at that time, don't have the athletic ability or the talent to stand out and be a star like that. They don't have that ability to go out and really shine and win on their own and just, you know, put the team on their back. Like John Stockton is probably the best white guy ever. Or no, Larry Bird. Larry Bird is probably the best. Yeah.
Pistol Pete. You got
yeah, but I think, who do you think is the most skilled, like, best white guy ever in the NBA? I would say Larry, hands down.
Yeah, Larry.
I mean,
Larry and
Pistol
then,
had a lot of skills, but I mean, yeah, Larry just because he
Larry
won
was dirty.
skills. Yeah.
Yeah, Larry.
And
was
even
dirty.
Bill Walton. Bill Walton was very skilled for a big man.
Yeah, but he's not Larry.
Different area.
Yeah, he's not Larry.
And then
So,
I like Stockton would probably be my second, but yeah.
but again, Stockton wasn't
Steve
like
Nash.
like the, you know,
He wasn't
excluding
flashy.
this era. Like
He
excluding this
wasn't
era.
like Stockton wasn't flashy, but he did everything.
He was very
Stockton,
smart.
if you watch Stockton, he doesn't ever even go left. He doesn't pass left. He
That's
doesn't
the thing.
dribble left.
I mean, he was he found an offense that worked for him. He mastered it, like absolutely mastered it, and excelled in it.
And well, it's not even just that. You know, defensively, they talked about the screens. They said nobody his size should have been able to set as hard of screens as he could set.
Well,
like
that's part of the white guy team player. Like he had to excel in those roles.
Oh, trust me. I like I said, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying he was good at a lot of little things. He's not necessarily exceptional, but he was amazing at a lot of things.
It's funny before just where I know we're digressing a lot, but I just wanted to bring up what I heard Larry Johnson was saying, because they brought up Karl Malone because they were asking him to pick his starting five, you know, for every position. And when they asked him about Karl Malone, he was like, Karl Malone, like for someone that big, he always had John Stockton and Hornacek coming out and setting all those screens for him. It's like I didn't even ever get to play him face up. He was always sending little white dudes to come set screens for him.
Hey, you come here. On Larry Johnson. Larry Johnson was like, what, 6'9", 6'8"?
6'6".
Yeah, he was like 6'6", 6'7". He was like Paul Millsap. He was undersized, but super strong. But I will say, I don't know if it was just the hater in him, but Gary Payton did say that John Stockton was the toughest cover he ever had in his career.
I don't think it was hater. I think that was honest. but Ryan, go ahead. The point you were making, Ryan,
he did cover Jordan, though.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, you know, I feel like that, you know, there is some truth behind that, because the white guys don't have that ability, whereas, you know, historically, black players are far more athletic. And they have that ability to take their game to another level. They can, you know, master those things that the white guys can do, and then take it to another level. Like,
well, see, the only reason why I think that there was a little bit of that, like, Carmelo hate in what Phil Jackson was saying, I think there was specific venom in what he was saying, because the way I see it, 90s and before, like I say, after AI and the N1 era, yes, every player wanted to be like an individual star and do too much hero ball, dribble, shoot, pull all the shots. But before that, in the 90s, I'd say like 70% of the black dudes couldn't shoot either. So how could they want to be the best? Obviously, they're going to play in an offense.
Speaking of not shooting, we all remember that Clippers team where all those number one draft picks like Darius Miles, Quentin Richardson, Michael Olowokandi, like all those
Elton
dudes,
Brand,
Lamar Odom, none of them could shoot, but they all could jump out the gym.
That was a highlight factory.
Yeah.
I still remember that full court alley-oop where was it Darius that caught it and threw it back to Q-Rich, or Q-Rich caught it and threw it back?
Q-Rich caught it and threw it back to Darius.
Yeah.
Man, I saw that when I was a kid. I was like, what? Did that just happen?
So that's the only reason, because I can't see how he would think that in the eras that he played in. But I could definitely post Allen Iverson, then yeah. Because even at that point, it's like white players even want to, like, Tyler, you get your Tyler Heroes nowadays, like where he obviously wants to be a superstar, right? But you know what I mean? But what's that? You disagree with that?
I don't know if Tyler Hero wants to be a superstar. I mean, maybe.
He wants to be the hero. His damn name is Hero.
I can be your hero, baby.
So yeah, I mean, I thought that was just interesting. But yeah, I think Scottie is just, I think he's playing a character to sell books. I don't think he necessarily believes a lot of the things he says. Like, there's no way he can say it.
Is he though?
One with no help.
Is he though? I mean, like you said, he constantly refers himself in third person, or maybe he's just in his mind he's one of the top. They named him one of the top 50 players of all time, and it's questionable if he would have been that without Jordan playing beside him. But
or if he's still that.
Yeah, but I mean, in his mind, I'm one of the top 50 players of all time. You know,
Hall of Fame, first ballot.
Yeah, so. Now, granted, and you mentioned he's on a rum tour.
Yeah, rum in a book.
I would not trust anybody making rum in central United States. Whiskey or bourbon, yeah. Arkansas, I'd buy somebody. You moonshine or bourbon? Oh yeah. Are you from Arkansas making bourbon and with? Oh yeah, I'll buy it. But rum.
Hey man, I'm sure he's outsourcing it from some island. Anywho, so moving on, in other peripheral news, the coaching carousel that has been going on in the NBA is becoming a little bit clearer. We have 3 official ones and one sort of announced but unofficial one. So Rick Carlisle is signed up to be with Indiana, which was like the most non-pressured. Like that was like the most comfy job he could probably like. There was no daring in him taking his old job. Chauncey Billups to Portland, which generated some noise surrounding, I guess, some rape allegations in 1997, but that was fully vetted. I think they had the same people worked on Luke Walton's case. Looking at that one. Sorry, that was a joke. I was
about to say, eh?
And then Ime Udoka.
Oh,
Ime,
yeah.
am I saying that name right? Ime Udoka. That sounds right.
Isn't he Nigerian?
Yeah, he's Nigerian. So what? Just because he's Nigerian, I'm supposed to know how to say his name?
Don't you know how to say all Nigerian names, Marco?
Ime Udoka. He's gone to the Celtics. And the unofficial one, which has not yet been confirmed as far as I know, is J Kidd to the Mavericks, the team that he once helped win a championship. So out of those 4, which of those do y'all think will have, the ability to make the easy or the most immediate impact?
I don't know. Micah, do you have an opinion on that?
Ooh,
I haven't decided yet.
Either Rick Carlisle or if Jason Kidd does go to the Mavericks, I think one of the two. I don't know enough about Udoka to really say anything about how he might change the Celtics organization. And I mean, Portland, I don't care. Like Chauncey Billups, I like Chauncey Billups, but Portland's build is flawed, and it doesn't matter who you get coaching it unless you make some drastic changes with their roster, they're not jumping up the Western Conference. They're not going to pull what the Jazz or the Suns did this year. It's just they're just very flawed in the way they're built and structured. So I say either Rick Carlisle, because Indiana has a good team. Biggest problem with them is injuries. They have a lot of injury prone players. And Jason Kidd to the Mavericks. I think Luka playing under Jason Kidd could shift his game a little bit. Now, I mean, Luka's a great player, amazing player, but I think that you can Jason Kidd can kind of help him a little bit in like managing the game and figuring out ways to get the other players involved a little more. So
you mean run an actual offense?
Yeah, essentially.
Not just do the LeBron James system.
Yeah, that LeBron-centric offense.
I think I'm honestly going to go Chauncey, because Chauncey was a dog. I mean, he can relate to Dame on that level. And Dame, I think that's what he's been missing as a head coach. You know, they've had some good basketball coaches up there.
Terry Stotts.
Yeah, I mean, Stotts is a good basketball coach. He's not a good he's not a good winner.
He's a good regular season coach.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, he'll always be employed in some level of basketball because he's got a good basketball mind. He's a very, very good basketball mind. But I think being able to see the offense through a guard at the top of the key, having to isolate and, you know, hit these big shots, Terry Stotts is nuts. Chauncey Billups is that, though. He can relate to Dame and see and, you know, get him I don't want to say more involved because he's pretty much like 70% of that offense anyway.
Right. Maybe more point guard type.
Yeah, because, I mean, Dame is a good scorer. He's a pretty decent assist guy. Like, he'll always be up there because he's going to draw a lot of the defense. But as far as Trae Younging an offense, if that makes sense, or like Jason Kidding an offense, or even Chauncey Billupsing an offense, and, you know, manipulating the defense with your movement on and off the ball and knowing where to drive into soft spots of the defense to suck it and, you know, draw, another guy open. Those type of guys were a little more cerebral because they weren't as otherworldly talented as Dame is. None of them had 35-foot range. None of them had that super athleticism like Dame has. But yeah, I think, long story short, I think it's Dame and Chauncey. I think that's going to be a perfect marriage there because Chauncey's one of the most underrated point guards in history, in my opinion, just because of his ability to win and his ability to do what he did with his, what he had around him and his athletic ability. Honestly, he wasn't a great athlete.
Yeah, I agree. I think Rick Carlisle will probably have the best season out of these four just because this team is the best. And I mean, Portland has a lot of work to do if they want to, you know what I mean? CJ is their second option, but honestly, CJ is the sixth man. They just have a lot of work to do, and like you said, he's a good defensive mind. So hopefully he'll instill some of that in them. And then just ball movement, because he was all about ball movement, motion. Rip Hamilton was a little Reggie Miller in that Detroit offense. And, Ben Wallace just was all about defense. So Chauncey just had to lead. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's a great hire for them in Portland. I'm glad to see Chauncey. Some new people getting a chance to coach because J. Kidd did a pretty good job in Milwaukee, but they got rid of him prematurely for whatever reason. I guess because Coach Bud was available. So we'll see how that goes. And then for the three remaining jobs are the Wizards, the Magic, and the Pelicans. I imagine a lot of people are pulling out of that Pelicans job, and I think it's because, recently we saw some Zion trepidation that he might not want to be there, but he's going to be there.
That totally changes that job outlook if he's not there, though.
Right. If he's unhappy, it's like, okay, well, how?
Or even if he's there this season and not there long term. I think that's
right.
the concern.
Exactly. So do y'all think that we're gonna see some new blood in here, maybe some women coaches, maybe some younger guys, or you think we're gonna get some retreads? Terry Stotts, which one do you take? Scotty Brooks.
They're like, Becky, that was an excellent interview, but this Terry Stotts guy, you see how many wins in the NBA he has? How many wins do you have in the NBA?
Oh man.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna go with Terry. There's an excellent interview though. Excellent.
Couldn't have done any better.
You absolutely killed it. Like, and I'm sure at one point she's heard this. Like, for a woman, you're an excellent basketball mind. It's like, oh, Becky deserves to be a coach. Becky, I hope she gets it, and I really don't want it to be in our division.
I mean, let's get send her to the Magic. That's
I was about to say, God.
Well, they did actually just unload.
I
forgot they completely unloaded, but they have a ton of picks too, though.
So it's one of the. I mean, I hopefully not just this draft. There's like a handful of guys in this draft, maybe, if that.
Yeah, but did you think Kayvon Herter was going to be a great pick?
We did.
Well, yeah. I mean, only because I'd watched him, and I was like, "Hey, I like this guy."
It took a while for him to truly start to blossom, but
yeah,
I mean,
honestly,
just on his Maryland tape, I could see that he was. I could see that they were the one that surprised me was Omari because we saw that they were trying to go. Trae was a Steph kind of guy. Herter was a Clay kind of guy, and then Omari was supposed to be a Draymond kind of guy, but that did not work out.
Well, he got fat.
It did not work out at all.
Ate himself out the league. So pretty much no. I mean, hopefully one of these three jobs.
So pretty much no.
I do not want to see Terry Scottie Brooks. If Doc Rivers gets fired, I do not want to see him again.
Man, I'll tell you what though. That New Orleans job, and I told I was talking to my coworkers about it. I said the perfect coach for the Pelicans is our coach. And I said, and I'm glad we got him. I said Nate McMillan down on the Pelicans roster would have been great. He could have developed that roster, but
Lonzo would have gone nuts underneath Nate.
Exactly.
Or Mark Jackson. Like, I don't know why no one wants to look at him anymore.
Oh,
well, we know why. We know why.
That's a long convoluted story. But that Pelicans roster, but even I'll be honest with you, even without Zion, even though Zion is the big name, the future, the face of the franchise, even without Zion, you have enough talent on that Pelicans roster to compete. And you might not be a contender, but you could make the playoffs with that Pelicans roster because Lonzo is finally starting to look like the Lonzo we thought he'd be.
Finally.
You got Jackson Hayes, who is a very athletic big who can play the post, who can rebound, he can block shots. You got some depth there. The only thing is, he said, Zion is the star, and if you get the right coach in there, then in turn you can turn it around. And then maybe you can build some confidence, and maybe you can build Zion's confidence, and he wants to stay. But, as long as you continue this perpetual, we're just, like I said, I said it last year when they hired Stan Van Gundy, it wasn't a good fit. They weren't built for the style of offense that Stan runs and typically that thrives under Stan. But, if you get the right guy in there, I just don't know who that guy would be right now of the available coaches.
Becky,
right.
Becky actually would be an excellent fit there.
I mean, she could be a good, but I mean, at the same time, do you think a new coach who doesn't really have any head coaching experience is going to be who convinces Zion that he wants to be there long term? Or do you think someone who's more of a name that's recognized and respected could potentially convince him?
Honestly, I don't think that has anything to do with it. I don't think the cachet of his head coach is what's going to make him stay or lose. It's going to be winning.
Yeah.
Like if
what they're putting around him.
Yeah, he's not AD where LeBron's been whispering in his ear for the last 3 years. He just wants to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I agree. I totally agree.
I think Becky Hammond could do that, or any coach. I think just Stan Van Gundy was a little bit over his head. They obviously built the team wrong. He's a little old school, so he couldn't get his message across to Zion and Brandon Ingram that y'all got to work together. So if we could just get a coach that could get these two to realize, okay, work together and we could win.
I still think it's just the style of offense that truly thrived with Van Gundy. I mean, you typically it was 4 out with 1 man in.
Yeah.
Like I said, that Orlando was built. You had 4 guys who were pretty much positionless. They could pretty much play they were interchangeable amongst positions. And then you had a big dominant big who could block shots and just eat up the boards.
But the problem, it was like Brandon Ingram was like, I want to be the end. It's like, and Zion's like, no, I'm the end. He's like, no, I want to be the end. And then Lonzo's like, what do I do? Just shoot those threes and shut up.
Lonzo developed a pretty consistent jumper there at the end.
Right.
But I mean, look at how many people, look at that Orlando team. How many people handled the ball? There were times Hito would bring it up.
Jameer.
There were times Rayford. There were times Jameer brought it up. There were times Hito brought it up. There were times Rashard Lewis brought it up. Peja. Now Peja played off the ball a lot, but they were interchangeable. They all did
that Magic team.
Mm-hmm.
Who?
Peja Stojakovic. Mm-hmm. I want to say
Hito. No, Hito. You're thinking of Hito.
I know Hito, but I think
Peja went from Sacramento to New Orleans to Dallas. I don't think he ever played.
Yeah, I might be wrong on that, but they damn who.
I think you're thinking of when he was with Dallas. I think that's the blue that you're confusing him with, because wasn't he with Dallas?
And it was. I'm sorry. The Petrus was the 3.
Okay,
Michael Petrus, the original Greek freak.
Yeah,
guy who Kobe was torching.
He played off the ball. I mean, he played off the ball a lot, but most of them, it was a bunch of long wing defenders who could handle the ball a little bit, who can all shoot, and then you had Dwight Howard, who legitimately just ate up the paint.
Dwight Howard did it.
Yeah, who just sat in the paint and just ate up everything. That was it. That was him. And that style won, because even though he was in Detroit, he had a similar build to that, and they didn't win anything, but they at least made the playoffs.
True that. Yeah, so let's get into this playoff talk.
Playoffs.
So, this Suns, initially last time we made our predictions, I think that the Clippers had won 1 game and it was 2-1. Since then, so let's
recap.
Let's recap. All right, so all the odds were against the Lakers' little bros, as Kawhi was ruled out for the series, and they quickly fell into a worrisome 3-1 hole without Chris Paul for the first half of those games. But with the help of the newly deemed Mr. June, Reggie Jackson, oh my God, he's been balling. Marcus Morris, and then secret weapon Boogie Cousins, the Clippers have managed to score a shocking win on Monday, and tonight could potentially tie the series up and be right back in this thing. So now the narrative of choking has been well represented in this season. I mean, in this series, the exploits of playoff P have been well noted, and although he has more or less lived up to that, he's had 2 really good games in this series. One of them, his stats were good, but he was completely choking in the 4th. But that last game, he really stepped up, put the team on his back, and led them. And
put the whole team on my back.
And he was not about to be upstaged by the king of choke, Chris Paul.
Uncle Cliff.
Who prior to last night was spooked by the mere mention of a 3-1 lead when the post-game reporter came up to him and tried to ask him about it. He was don't say that.
Chris, what do you think about 3-1?
Don't say that. I have bad history with some 3-1s. Like, what is wrong with you, Chris?
Don't mention those numbers together.
So anyway, they lost. Yeah. So now the Clippers are at 3-2. They're playing in a couple minutes. So I want to ask y'all, will the Suns close this thing out, or have the Clippers and PG found the confidence that they will need to make it to the promised land without their unemotional sort of kind of leader on the sideline?
First, did y'all see that? Did y'all watch that game when he was like, and Kawhi Leonard's going crazy?
Yeah, they actually did that in 2 games, but the second one went more viral.
Yeah, the second one.
I was thinking something similar to Tim Duncan in that old Foot Locker commercial. I'm so excited. I just knocked over a plant.
Knocked over a cat.
Oh man.
It is funny because looking at Kawhi, what I picked up from his face was that he was actually worried. I didn't catch that he was like excited. He looked like he was like, oh shit, these guys are gonna blow it.
Oh no.
Right. Just like any fan would, any real fan is tense in those moments. They're not just happy because their team's suddenly coming back.
Nicole will look over, I'm just like,
right. It's like we're not sitting there like, yes, we're coming back after sucking this whole game. Yes. It's like, no, we're like, you motherfuckers, finally. Like,
about damn time.
Right. You know what I mean? So that's what I picked up from his face. But go ahead.
What was the question? I've gotten off topic. Sorry.
What's going to happen? Clippers?
Oh, right. Yes, the Suns will close it out. I think DeAndre Ayton is going to go ham on this, and you're really going to start to see him expose. Because, like, Zubac, you're okay. Cousins can only do so much nowadays. I think they get it together here on the road, and they close it out and take their first trip to the final since '93.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I think they got it. I think they got enough pieces. Campaign is gonna step up. You're gonna see a little Wright step up here, and I think Cliff Paul is gonna take a swift exit from the playoffs, and Chris is gonna finally get that monkey off his back and go to the finals, baby.
That thing you posted where he flew out the window was hilarious. Where he got crossed over by Paul George and he flies out the window.
I forgot about that. But yeah, that was funny. Micah.
On this episode of Dragon Ball Z, will we see Cliff Paul or will Chris Paul show up? Or will we see Playoff P or Pandemic P? Find out tonight on Dragon Ball Z.
They called him 40-piece P the other day. I was like, oh,
40-piece.
40-piece P.
Yeah. Part of me thinks the Clippers have a sense of are playing with a sense of urgency. It's what I've been saying the whole playoffs. The crazy thing with the Clippers is they can get real lax until they absolutely need to, and then all of a sudden their team flips the switch like, bam, we need to win now, and then they turn up. So because of that, I will say I think they win tonight and take it to Game 7. Now, will they win Game 7? I don't know, but I think they, like I said, they just have this switch that they click on when they really get in danger of getting eliminated, and then they'll win a game, they'll keep it, and they'll win one more game and just keep it going. So yeah, I think they'll take it to Game 7 tonight.
Well,
yeah,
by that logic, wouldn't they win the next 2?
Right. I mean, I agree with you, Mike, but I think that if the Suns don't close tonight, they're losing the series.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, pretty much, and I just wanted. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't bring up how bad game. What game was that? That was Game 3.
Yeah.
They scored the final score was like 81 to 7.
God, the whole thing.
They didn't score for 4 minutes straight.
But
Oh my!
I just think that if we go to Game 7, then the pressure is truly on playoff P. He turns to pandemic P. The pressure gets on Chris Paul. He turns into Cliff Paul. So it's basically who can be worse in a Game 7 scenario
Right. That game was just like that OKC Houston series in the bubble last
Oh
year. It
my
was like,
God.
who's gonna
Bro,
choke? Who's gonna
bro.
choke?
That game was awful.
Who's going to choke this game away?
Chris Paul's like, I'm gonna be the last one choking here.
Chris Paul dribbling in the double team, getting stripped. Then Westbrook going to the other end, getting blocked by.
Oh God.
And Dort.
Lou Dort.
Oh my. I said, as bad as Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook were, Lou Dort outshined both of them. This is how you really suck it up.
But the worst part was having the defensive play be from James Harden.
Yeah.
It's like, not only did you mess up, you got clamped by James Harden.
You got blocked by James Harden.
Correct.
Then didn't even know what to do with the ball. Like, oh my God, you don't even need to be an NBA dude. Just stop. Just quit. Retire now.
So speaking of that, as we move on to talking about this next series, who of these two Western Conference teams would you rather see if we manage to get past the Bucks?
Both of them scare me, honestly, just because of matchups. Honestly, I feel like... All right, let me go through how I'm thinking about this. I think Trae Young can cook Chris Paul all day long. I don't think we have anybody that can stop Devin Booker. And the Sun, I mean, he's good.
Reddish.
He's good. I don't think he's clamping Devin Booker good yet, though.
Here we got Cam and Kevin.
If we had Cam and Hunter, Hunter, then I would feel a little more comfortable about it. But like, the matchups on the Suns and just their style of offense scares me a lot, because they're similar in us as kind of how they're built. They can have anybody go off on a night, but they have that one true Mr. Get you a bucket any type of way guy in Devin
Reggie
Booker.
Jackson.
I
thought you were talking.
We're still on the Suns here. We haven't talked about the greatest player of the series. I think, and then just Paul George scares me in general against us. Just he's that elite wing. That's a scary guy for us to see. But I guess the Suns scare me the most. So I'd rather see the Clippers. I don't know, man. It's a tough choice. Clippers.
I'll say I'd rather see the Suns. I think while I think the Suns can be more dangerous, I feel like the Clippers are a much more physical team. And I think that Pat Bev against Trae, Pat Bev doesn't do anything offensively. Literally all he does is bully. He bullies smaller point guards. So I would rather not see that matchup. Like you said, I think Trae could have a great series against Chris Paul. Chris Paul's gonna try and get physical with him, but I'm not worried about Chris Paul. He's so small.
Left.
He's so small. He's older. He has bad hamstrings. So Devin Booker is a problem. That's a problem. I believe Ayton. We might struggle with Ayton a little bit just because he's longer, but I believe between Capella and the young blood Onyeka Okongwu, we could do a decent job against him. I don't think they truly have anyone. What's his name? Jay Crowder. I think John Collins can handle Jay Crowder.
I mean, Jay Crowder only stands in the corner and dives sometimes.
I'm talking about offensively. I think offensively, John Collins can score on Jay Crowder because he's more athletic. Gallo's not afraid of anybody. Jay Crowder or Gallo, he's fire. He's still fire. He's
like 5 inches. Thanks.
Turn around, fade. Got him.
Spin back left.
Yeah, and Cam. Now that we have Cam back, bro, I have so much confidence on the defensive end. Like Cam legit looks like 6'10". He's so long and he's so athletic. And now he's at the point, it's like he's got so much energy because he hadn't played since the end of February. And he's the fresh guy when everybody else is tired and beat up. He's like, I got all the energy. I'm healthy. I'm 100% healthy. And it's just like, bruh, last night. And then if he gets his confidence back in his shot, oh, bruh, he could legitimately change like series. He could be that X factor that we need. Bogey's getting healthy. His shot is coming back. I love to see that. Now they have good players. Mikal Bridges, but a lot of those guys are just wing guys who can knock down shots. Campaign could be, a problem, but I don't see him putting up with Chris Paul being healthy. I don't see him playing, 30 minutes a night. I feel like Chris Paul being there forces them to slow the game down. If Chris Paul's not there and they're playing with Campaign, they play at a speed that might be difficult for us to contain. But with Chris Paul there, he naturally slows the game down, which is somewhere we can keep up, which makes the game a speed that we can keep up with. So I feel like a little more comfortable matched up with them.
Yeah. Well, see, I'm not really scared of either of them because I think there's certain things that we have advanced. Like, for instance, John Collins against the Suns. I don't think he'll run into the foul trouble he's been running into against the last two teams. And also against the Clippers. I don't really see who's going to really get him into foul trouble against the Clippers. Maybe Morris, maybe Zubac. But, so then Trae against – I remember one of the first times I really was like, yo, Trae's official was when he came went to the Clippers. And he ended up with his rookie year, got 22 and 14 against Pat Bev and Avery Bradley. And everybody's like, these are the two best defenders in the league. And he was like, oh, really? It's like, so I'm not worried about Trae in either of those matchups. I think I'd rather go against the Clippers just because obviously they're down their best player. And I think that even though Booker, the Clippers have proven that it's sort of easy to get Booker, because going into this series or pretty much into this playoffs, I think I always overrated Booker a little bit as just a shooter. You know what I mean? I always figured that he was a good 3-point shooter, but now I look at it, he shoots the same kind of 3-point numbers Kobe does.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's a Kobe clone, is what he is.
Yeah, And then it also made me realize, like, oh yeah, I was always like, yo, Devin Booker has a great post game, but I'm like, oh, he developed that post game because he can't shoot. It's like I didn't put these things together until this year. So with that in mind, it's like there's ways to make him less efficient, but I know he's still the guy who's like, he has all the heart. He's young, so I'd much rather have like a scared Paul George than a determined Devin Booker. So I'll go with Clippers too.
If the West wins, somebody out West is getting their first ring that everyone's been waiting on, like PG or Chris Paul. That's crazy.
Right. Man, it sucks for Giannis. I mean, we'll talk about that in a second. So let's go ahead and get to this, the meat and potatoes of this segment.
Wait, something else happened in basketball?
You didn't like my fish and grits instead of meat? I did.
Anyway,
I see what you did there. Yes, sir. So, tragedy struck Atlanta fans in Game 3, as we looked like a motivated team with a superstar player on pace for another 40-point game and a convincing lead against a flustered Bucks. This was coming after Game 2, where we were totally outclassed on the court. And then Adam Silver went to work, wanted to uphold his league's decision to make a guy who consistently airballs free throws a 2-time MVP, and sent his referee goons in a bounty gate fashion to target Trae Young's ankles. And believe me, I've been watching every game after that, and no referee ever stands directly behind action. Doesn't happen. Anyway, just like that, our hearts were struck. A lead was lost, and then to make matters worse, before Game 4 started, We got the news that our young gutter would not be playing that night because of a bone bruise due to referee malfeasance. Heart sunk, heads lowered, and thoughts of a great season coming to a close flashed in our minds. But
Not those thoughts.
Lou, Bogey, and Cam weren't hearing none of that. They said, fuck that, and balled out. We led wire to wire, and the only run that the Bucks were pretty much about to make started after halftime, where I think they got in like within 5, and then Giannis
10. After half, it was 10. Yeah, 10.
Within 10. Then Giannis, his hyperextended his leg. It looked terrible. I was pretty emotional about that. I was like, I don't like to see great players get hurt. Like, that was terrible. But you know what I mean. It's not. I don't call it karma because it's not. That's like implying that they deserve it.
If it was
But
Joel Embiid or someone like that, it might have been karma. But
right. But at the same time, I was just say that to say because they just beat a Brooklyn team that didn't have their whole cast. You know what I mean? So injuries always come back around, and at the same time, his style of play lends to injury. You know what I mean? It's like he is such a. Not to say he doesn't have any skills, but he relies so much on his physical ability that eventually that's going to catch up. You just don't want to see that anytime soon, but you just know that it's impending. So it took him out of the game, and it cushioned our lead, and we ended up winning by a lot. What was the margin?
22.
22
Trae
points?
Young's number. No,
Wait,
double Trae's his number is what I meant.
You mean
to say.
Cam's number?
Yeah,
Cam's number, double Trae.
With all that in mind, have your expectations for the series changed? Like, obviously, we can't predict what injuries will mean for our star and theirs, but just team for team, from what we have seen, do you think the Hawks can make this finals dream come true? And, you know, the way we should sort of approach this is first, let's talk about yesterday's game, and then we can talk about what we expect going forward.
So, all right. So, just going off of last night, I remember we talked about either earlier in the year or last year, as soon as the season started. It was the former Celtics head coach. He's now the GM.
Brad Stevens.
Yeah, he made the remark that the Hawks were the deepest team in the NBA, and I believe last night we showed it. We had all kinds of people stepping up and making plays. I mean, really, the only 2 players who truly looked bad last night were Chris Dunn and Bruno Fernando. And
when did Bruno even play?
He got in the last minute.
Yeah, yeah. It was just like, you know, everybody was firing on all cylinders. Lou came out with 7 for 9. 7 for 9 from the field, 21 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. You had Collins had a good game. Herter had a good game. Bogey put up 20. Cam came in the game, played very good defense on Chris Middleton, and put up 12 points. It was such a crazy game that even Capella hit a fadeaway shot over the backboard while falling out of bounds.
The Larry Bird special.
Swished it. It was like, bruh. when Capella's hitting trick shots like that, I said that was a shot in horse that everybody tries and nobody can never hit. He just pulled it off last night. That when you're having that, all right, things look to be in line. It was a very good game. Defensively, I think we played a very good game. We matched up with them. Now, granted, Chris Middleton had some good looks, and he didn't shoot well. But it's Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton, I told one of my coworkers, I said, Chris Middleton is good for one game a series. One good game a series. And then he
it's 1 on, 2 off, 1 on, 3 off.
Yeah. And it's like, so he put up the 38. He set his career playoff high against us, and then shot like 5 for like 26 last night. So Drew Holiday, we got to figure out a way to keep Drew Holiday from getting what he wants, because Drew is going to step up in the next few games, because there's a good.
I beg to differ. I'd beg to differ, because we already saw a 30 and a 20-point game out of Drew Holiday. I mean,
yeah,
that's way above his average.
Yeah, but
at 10 points, 12 points above it, isn't it?
At the same time, though, he has to. He doesn't have a choice, because Giannis is definitely out game 5, because I know his knee is still swollen. Unless he just has Superman knees.
There's no way.
I highly doubt he's playing game 5, because he's too heavy to be playing on a hyperextended knee with swelling and all that stuff. Then
they paid that man. They just gave him the freaking arena with his paycheck. Like, there's no way they should risk that.
And so game 6 is the same thing. There's a good chance he won't play game 6. So if the Bucks want to have any chance at winning it, coming back and winning the series, or even getting to game 7 and giving Giannis a chance to potentially recover, then him and Middleton are gonna have to step up, and you're gonna need Bobby Portis to step up. You're gonna need Brook Lopez to step up. So I'm not as worried about that, but like I said, there were a few times where Drew got to the bucket way too easy and got some just easy layups and easy baskets, and that's what I think we need to kind of limit, because you don't want him to get in rhythm, get to the foul line, and then what should be a 18 to 20 point performance turns into 35, 36 based off of free throws and just easy baskets.
Yeah, fast break. He was cherry picking so much in that game 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So recap, and then
we'll just do recap now, then we'll come back around for the.
Yeah. The biggest thing for me was the style of offense that we ran. Like, when Trae is there, and this happens with a lot of great point guards, a lot of people tend to sit around and watch, and they forget to move. Without that, and you saw this down the stretch when Bogey was running the offense for us as well, you got to move. You got to have a lot of motion. You got to have a little bit more of an intricate offense, and that's exactly what Nate McMillan ran up in Indiana. They never had a great point guard in his time there. They had some pretty good ones. They had some decent ones, but they never had like a Trae Young where you just sit back and watch him cook. I think that was a huge thing for us. Another thing was the change in the way we attacked the pick and roll, and I would mention it to Marco when he was over here last time, is we had to stop using Capella up high as much, because on that, if he picks and pops, he's not a threat at all. He has to roll. He absolutely has to roll. So it crowds the paint, 1. 2, it's you're taking away an offensive rebound threat down there as well, because John's pretty good at it. Capella's just a little bit better because he's bigger.
It's longer, yeah.
Yeah. But we switched things up and made some adjustments on the offensive end that opened up guys for shots and allowed us to get some of our wings involved in scoring it here. John played an okay game. He took some shots, and he put up some shots in the post that you probably would like to see better looks on, be a little more patient, because you can still see it in his head. He's still thinking, well, I mean, one, you have Lopez and Giannis there, who are both great shot blockers. And then he just got done playing against Embiid. So that clock in his head down in the post is going off really quick. Same with Capella. They both need to just chill out a little bit down there, create some contact with the bigs, and get those guys in trouble, because as many times as we've gotten boards down there or passes, you don't see Brook Lopez getting into foul trouble. You don't see Giannis getting into foul trouble, and they need to. But, yeah, I mean, the biggest thing was defense. Like, Chris Dunn did a great job on defense. I don't ever want to see him touch the ball on the offense.
Oh, my God, he's so bad.
He is awful.
Bro, that fast break was hilarious. He just fumbled.
It was literally everything. Every pass was nearly intercepted or intercepted.
The worst part was the damn shot he put up against Brooke Lopez.
Oh, the three-pointer?
No, not that.
Oh, yeah.
When he went in the paint and he, like, leaned to the left and then, like,
take a
threw
weird floater.
like a hook shot floater right at
Right
Brooke
into his
Lopez's hands. I was like, good God, man.
I don't know, though. It was that where he was on the 2-on-1 fast break. And
that was bad, but
it was like the receiver who's like running downfield and then all of a sudden just drops the ball. Like, no.
honestly, I mean, like Chris Dunn, like, God, it's such a fall from grace because first round pick coming out of Providence, people are like, this guy's gonna be amazing. Like, all he needs to do is get his offensive game a little bit better and he'll be amazing. And then here we are. He's now our third point guard option on the team.
Yeah, and if Brandon Goodwin was healthy, then he'd be up for it.
He wouldn't be playing if Brandon Goodwin.
Skylar Mays is so much better than him. It's just Chris Dunn's defense. God, like if any of y'all go back and watch the game, when the moments he was in, watch his off-ball movements on defense and taking away passing lanes. Like the guys that he was guarding, he was baiting people into those passes, and you could see the hesitation because he's so quick and he's so adept at jumping those passing lanes. And his on-ball defense is excellent too. It's just, if you can learn something while you're here in Atlanta, like watch Trae just for a little bit, Chris. Practice with Trae.
You can't. No, don't watch Trae.
Bro,
he can't do anything Trae does.
He's watched him the whole season. It doesn't help.
I mean, he was MIA. He was on that milk carton for the longest time. Remember, no one even knew where he was.
Right. He was sitting back there. He just didn't know what he looked like.
No.
Are you the towel boy? Or no, I'm Chris Dunn.
Oh, wait, what?
He takes the mask down. Look, see, like, nah, it doesn't ring a bell.
The funny thing is, Lou is actually, even though on-ball defense isn't great, Lou has sneakily been a very decent defender.
He plays veteran defense.
He plays the passing lanes so well. It's like somebody will throw a pass and then Lou just pops out of nowhere like, I got it.
Right.
Like,
he doesn't rush. He doesn't rush, and he knows a lot of where the ball is supposed to be going. But just on my opinion, real quick, like I 100% agree with Ryan. Like with Trae out, Nate just picked up doing what he does best, and it's like, okay, team ball, guys. We're moving the ball. We're not relying on one guy to make everything, But at the same time, you saw the shortcoming because we were hot, but you saw how that might be an issue if we weren't, because especially in that first quarter, we were having trouble generating any offense because we weren't getting any penetration. It was all passes around the perimeter, and it was all, you know what I mean? Whereas Trae will always drive and kick, which is when you saw Cam come in the game, like he's literally the only player on our team who will attack the basket with reckless abandon.
Man, he goes for it.
He goes for it. I love that.
7 foot in there. Don't care. I'm banging on you, man.
Right. Like I absolutely love that. And and I think not only that, but I think putting him into the lineup and just having, even though he didn't do well offensively, I think having that other scoring threat allowed us to have Chris Dunn in the game without fear of, okay, well, Chris Dunn's about to fuck this up, because he will. But it's like, but like you said, his defense was so good. And it took away so many options that, Milwaukee, we already looked at Milwaukee as a team that doesn't have a lot of just bona fide scoring options. So when you have 3 defenders on your court at a time that can, like Okongwu was giving Giannis hell in that first half. Like Capella was giving him hell, and that everybody was like, so you saw when these guys don't feel confident, you immediately see that, this team is very beatable. Like even without Trae on the court. You know what I mean? Because we played team ball and we had shooters. But obviously, we can't expect great shooting nights every night. So we still, I'm still a bit, like I'm not like super confident that we're just going to like blow these dudes out now. But, also one thing I did want to point out, because you were talking about like the stopwatch in Collins' head. I felt like as soon as Giannis went out the game, that thing disappeared in Capella's head. Capella was like, oh shit. Like,
I'm wide open.
It's like, oh, offensive rebound, that's mine. Every rebound started coming to him. Like his game opened up to how it was in the regular season as soon as Giannis left that game. And I just saw like a confidence that I hadn't really seen from our front court in this series so far, and even going into that Sixers series. Go ahead.
One thing I forgot to mention as well. You might want to finish your statement because it might take us to something else.
No, that was it.
Okay. A big thing was we had been yelling at the TV at it for so long, and I think I'd mentioned it. I think it was just to you, Marco, who's when it over here, is how we were playing Giannis on his drives. Like ball side wasn't collapsing. Weak side was collapsing to him and taking away that spin. And so we were just asking the on-ball defender to take his ball hand away and just play it hard. Like, get into him, get your hands up, and play him hard. And then that weak side would collapse on him and take away that spin. And then we were also asking the guards to even dip down and swipe at that spin. When he would get stonewalled coming into the paint, that guard would come down and just start swiping because they knew he was coming back. Giannis, once he goes and that drive is killed and he loses his dribble, he always comes back. And it's usually pretty low because he wants to keep that dribble alive. So we played him exceptionally well on that. The defense.
Yeah, like we were saying, he's no Hakeem where like Hakeem would go into that move and have 3-4 options in his mind. Giannis has one option every time he spins. Yeah. it's like either if he can't get his shot, he's just kicking it to a 3-point shooter. But it's not like, you know what I mean? He doesn't have counter moves. He doesn't have – it's usually just one move, spin straight to layup.
It's a hard drive, spin, look for the hook. If it's not there, and up and under every time.
Right. So, and we don't know, obviously he was ruled out. No structural damage is what the report said, but I'm pretty sure he's not coming back. I can't see a player that can't shoot being able to play with that kind of injury.
Well, one that relies that much on his athleticism to play with that.
Exactly. He can't do anything but go 100 miles per hour. So I don't see how he could play on a bum knee. Like he would just hurt his team. Honestly, he would hurt his team at that point because he would just get stripped all the time.
Hold on real quick. Speaking on Akeem Olajuwon, shout out to Clint Capella for the dream shake fadeaway out of bounds again. That was the play of the night. Clint, there you go. We appreciate you.
Right. And man, Connaughton is terrible. Like every shot I've seen him take has been a brick. He's been so bad this series.
Man, I was like, where's the Notre Dame Connaughton? Where did he go?
Right. I thought he was decent. Like that dude's been. It's like it felt like his shot is just a very high. Like he just shoots it very high in the sky and just hopes. Yeah, just a lot of arch and just hope. What do y'all think? What do y'all see going forward? How's your confidence level? What do you think we need to do? Can we do this without Trae? Like, just give me what are your thoughts on going forward?
I was going to say a little measured optimism. Nah, man. If Giannis is indeed out, and he's going to be out game 6, like I highly doubt it. And if he is in the game, he's going to be limited because a hyperextended knee, especially one at that size and the way it buckled, like that's probably a grade 2 sprain at the very least. Mm-hmm. That's 4 weeks minimum, man, on a knee. So like Hawks in 6, even if no Trae, you see how deep we are. Mm-hmm. I've been yelling at, so I have a group chat with some guys that I play Xbox with, and one's from Detroit and one's from DC, another one's from Canada, Mario, Rain, and Bobel. Mm-hmm. So shout out to you guys for tuning in. Appreciate y'all tuning in time to time. I was trying to tell him, I was like, look, man, we're a deep team. And the guy from Michigan is probably the biggest basketball fan in the group. And he was, he didn't watch us too much because, one, we weren't nationally televised, but
because
also
he's everybody else in the country.
Yeah, I mean, but honestly, think about being in Detroit and, like, I need to watch these Hawks. We were on national TV once.
No one's saying that.
Five times in like the last 3 years.
Yeah, so I mean, he got one shot to see us, and then you hear these stories get out of. We were 14-20. It's like, oh, it's same old Hawks, And I kept telling, I was like, man, we need Cam Reddish. We need Cam Reddish. We need Cam Reddish. Yeah, I need his defense to come in. And he's like, Cam Reddish is a bust. He's a bum. I didn't like him at Duke. And I was like, no, man, you haven't watched the new Cam Reddish. Like, down the stretch last year, he's a beast. And then this game happened. He goes, man, you were right.
Oh, is that who you were having a little back and forth with in the text, or was that someone else?
I've had quite a few back and forths with people.
Okay,
about
I remember there was a comment fest on one post where somebody was doubting Cam, and you were
that was some young kid.
Some kid. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Hawks in 6. No measured optimism here. We're deeper. We're better. And if Trae comes back, which I don't, we may give it a go. Like if it's announced that Giannis is out, I think you'll see us rest Trae. If Giannis is in, we'll probably run Trae just to see.
I agree. Now, granted, I said this from the jump. I said Hawks in 6. I believe it's going to be Hawks in 6. Like I said, we're the deeper team, the better team. You don't have Brook Lopez can block shots, but Brook Lopez doesn't instill fear the way Giannis does. I mean, Giannis can come from any side he'll fly from the other side of the court and just swat your shot. So
isn't Giannis a defensive player of the year?
He might have been.
He did. I think he won it once or twice.
Yeah. Rudy Gobert steals it a lot. So
yeah, he's eating him up.
But before last night when Giannis got hurt, there was really only one person on the floor who didn't care about Giannis being in the game, and that was Gallo, because Gallo's gonna shoot. He don't care. He don't care who guarding him. You could put an 8-foot person on Gallo. Gallo's gonna fire it up. He's gonna step back, and that's Gallo. But I think Collins is gonna play less timid. Like you said, there's that clock that's been going off in his head. It's gonna be non-existent now. It's just take my time, get a good shot. Capella is going to play a lot more confident because I think he knows he's a lot more athletic than Brook Lopez. So
you mean Yard Capella?
His nose or his eye? I thought his
eye.
Yeah. Oh wow.
He saw an ophthalmologist after the game.
Oh, wow.
So nothing negative because I hadn't heard anything about it since the injury, but
he's questionable for Game 5.
Oh wow.
God damn it! Everybody's.
Yeah,
he'll play. He'll play.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll play. Even if he plays limited minutes, I mean, the worst thing that happens is Okongwu gets more minutes, which I'm fine with the way he's been playing.
I mean, as long as we don't see him swatting balls that aren't there or anything.
Yeah. The only way that I would hate that is if that meant Bruno Fernando would have to play. Then I'd be like, no, Clint, you have to play.
Nathan Knight all day.
Never playing. Nathan Knight, we'll see him before we ever see him.
Yeah, but I mean, other than that, yeah, I like I said, I totally agree with Ryan. I think we're the much deeper team, much better team, much more talented team, even without Trae. So I say Hawks in 6.
No one fears Bryn Forbes.
Ben Forbes. I can't believe this. Yeah, it's Ben.
Oh, I thought it was Bryn. Oops.
How did you say Connaughton's name the other day?
Connaughton.
Pat Connaughton.
Connaughton.
It's spelled that way.
Yeah, I don't.
It is Bryn.
Is it
Bryn? Yeah, I knew I wasn't crazy.
No, you're crazy. You're a crazy one. No, but
Pat Connaughton. Connaughton.
Well, yeah, I don't think that they, we've seen Drew Holiday in his offensive repertoire, which is pretty much flat shots and driving all the way to the bucket. Chris Middleton obviously can get hot, but he's not, maybe to the next game, but he's not going to do it like 2-3 games in a row, so I'd lean towards 6-2. I think we're going to close this thing out in Atlanta. A little gift, a little parting gift for our old coach, a little bud, send him home in Atlanta. But yeah, I just think, like you said, despite being injured, we just have so many different guys who can contribute. You know what I mean? So I just don't think they have that. Outside of Middleton and Drew, you can't really look at any of those other guys for 15 plus points. Like Brook Lopez, yeah, if he gets hot, but he hasn't done that this whole series. What was he averaging? Like 5 points in this series, if that?
Brook, let's find out. Brook Lopez,
maybe like 8.
Because he had that one game where he had like 15, I think.
Yeah, like 8 to 10 probably.
Scroll way down to catch this series. He is averaging 10 points.
Yeah,
10 points.
10 points and 2.8 rebounds as a 7-foot center.
I mean, he just stands on the wing. That's all he does. But so just to cap it off, I do want to sort of just touch on this. So last week I heard Bomani Jones, who's a fake Atlanta. He went to school here or something. So now he thinks I don't count him though. He was pretty much saying if the Hawks, this was when we were still in the Sixers series, like if the Hawks win and they beat everybody who's injured, no one's gonna count this title, blah blah blah. And then today Chris Broussard was like, oh, this one definitely gonna have to have an asterisk on it. He even said, he was like, if the Hawks win, it'll have an asterisk, but if any of the other 3 teams win, it won't have an asterisk.
Bomani's from here, by the way.
Huh?
He's from Atlanta.
Chris Broussard?
No, Bomani.
I don't care. He fake. He fake, man. I don't care. But yeah, so he was basically like, if we win, we'll get an asterisk. If the other 3 teams win, they won't. First of all, they don't give asterisks in the NBA. Or LeBron would have a big asterisk jersey. He would just change his number to an asterisk. Like that doesn't happen. Second of all these teams have played people who are hurt. We were hurt.
We are still hurt.
All right, Trae had a shoulder injury the whole Sixers series. We didn't have DeAndre Hunter.
Second best player or third, depending.
Depending on what day it is. Obviously, the Bucks had to beat. They didn't play a full strength team. I guess because he went against KD, people think that's like, oh, whatever. It's KD by himself. When has KD ever led anybody by himself? And then at the same time,
calm down, Scotty.
On the other side, the Suns beat AD not being there and LeBron not caring. And then they beat. Who'd they beat in the second round? Nuggets without Jamal Murray.
Without Jamal. Without Jamal.
Right, and a tired-ass team who, I don't think, like, if you're going to try to put the asterisk on the Hawks, you got to put it on everybody. But I'm of the thing that there's never asterisks. What do y'all think about that Atlanta hate?
I'll take this one. So, it's garbage, bro. Like, why is it whenever Atlanta does something good, the media finds some way to shit on it? If it doesn't have anything to do with strip clubs or chicken wings, they find some way to trash it, or hip or rap music. They find some way to trash it. And my thing is, all right, so are you going to put an asterisk next to the Lakers? Because the only reason they went to the bubble was so LeBron could have a shot to win a title in a year that was stopped by COVID. Or are you going to put an asterisk next to the 2019 Toronto Raptors? Because if Clay and KD didn't go down in injuries, there's a good chance they wouldn't have won the title either. So how are you going to put an asterisk next to us because players we played against got injured, but you aren't going to think about doing it.
And not only that, but preemptively, before we even get a chance to get there, we haven't even got there yet.
It's like just it's like writing it off. Like Atlanta won. No, doesn't count. Nope. It's
just
Atlanta.
In case they win.
Like, bro, like it's ridiculous. I just get tired of it. Like, yo, Atlanta fans need something to celebrate too. They love to badmouth us, talk about we don't have a real fan base and so on and so forth. Oh, their fans don't show up to their games and blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? Every home game has been rocking this year.
Giannis knows the Atlanta fans. I'll tell you that.
Exactly. And I mean, it's been rocking. Bruh, like they were doing the countdown. They had him shook last night. And it's like, bruh, the fans are here. The fans love the team. The fans are supporting the team. But the media has this narrative that they keep pushing that we don't have real fans, and that it's just bull. It's just garbage, bro. It's just like quit hating on Atlanta. The South got something to say.
Hey. You know what? I'm gonna bring it up. Actually, where's it at? Let's bring this guy so everyone can see it. For those of y'all at home that are viewing it, you know what? You know why they hate us, Marco?
Because they ain't us.
They hate us because they ain't us. Sir, did you just say anus?
No.
Oh, where are we at? We're at here. Yeah, man. Atlanta's a city that inspires a lot of envy. Outside of, like maybe like New Yorkers have way more pride than us, and like Californians as a whole kind of have it. But recently, I'm on the suicide squeeze. That's not where we are. We're on the layup. Why is that? There we go.
Technical difficulties.
I don't know why that happened. This is not the suicide squeeze. Every time I've been speaking this time, you're telling me that the suicide squeeze has been popped up.
Uh-oh. Well, hey, we're working the kinks out.
Let's grab this guy, copy it. But yeah, I mean, we're a city that a lot of people want to live here, and I mean, you see it from like North Carolina people coming here all the time, Alabama, Florida people, like everybody around the South, like flocks here. We're like we're the capital of the South. It is what it is. We're one of the few metropolises in the South. So that's already cocked and loaded just out of jealousy. We've got a rap culture that is, unstoppable nowadays. It can be argued whether they're good or not now, but we had this long lineage of this rap history and music history and a civil rights history. I mean, there's a lot of envy that goes into it, and they take shots at us any way they can. And sports has been that way for so long that, we have this losing culture down here, and it looks like it's slowly turning around for the Hawks here, and maybe for the rest of the city. I mean, Atlanta, United just broke that curse a couple of years ago. The Hawks are doing something. And, we have this culture here. And I think it's very important to mention the reason Travis Schlenk chose Trae Young over Luka. And this came out not too long ago in an interview with Dukes and Bell. But Travis Schlenk said he chose Trae because he fits the city better. He said skill-wise, it was like you could pick one and, be great. You could pick the other and be great. But as far as fitting the culture here and fitting and representing Atlanta, Trae Young embodies that. And he's brought that out in this city recently that a lot of people are like, whoa, okay, maybe Atlanta is something here, and maybe this kid is special. So how can we discredit that? Because we're a little jealous. That looks a little fun down there. Like, you have the ruckus crowds. Like Atlanta always had its strip club culture. It's hip hop culture. It's all the stuff that makes Atlanta great. They always had that, but it was always
where ballers would come and spend their money.
Exactly, but no one came here to stay or play. And now we're getting there, and people are like, "All right, well, if they win, it doesn't count.
Don't count.
So."
And about that, like, just lastly about the Trae Young thing, it's like, and that's like even before we saw the success in the playoffs, it's like people are so quick to be critical when they really have no context. It's like, just like you said, they don't show Hawks games on TV. So where are you forming this opinion about Trae Young from? Like, from looking at his stats, or from what the news says about him not making an all-star game, or like, where are you getting this information from? We're here, we watch every game. We've seen and known that this kid is exceptional for the last 3 years. And somehow people just now be like, oh, yeah, he used to be, like, even Shaq, he used to be a Steph Curry copycat, but now he's his own player. It's like, who did he have to pass to when he averaged 30 points per game? Every time he should have averaged a double-double his rookie year, but Alex Len was missing layups every game. So it's like,
Dwayne Dedman.
Right, Dwayne. Who was he supposed to be passing to?
Hell, Bruno got run then, too.
Right, Bruno got run. It's like, who was he supposed to be passing to? It's like, so I mean, I'm just like, and that's the thing about, I think if you're not a fan of Atlanta, you don't understand this, but half the reason, like me personally, like that I love seeing our teams do so well is because it feels good to have our guys like prove all these naysayers wrong. It's like, because it's just such a burden of always being made fun of. Like Atlanta fans are always getting made fun of. We're always the butt of jokes. We're always like, oh, we're going to be good this year. Oh, haha, okay, yeah, you fucking idiot. Like, whatever.
Dummy.
Right. And it's just funny, like, because everybody's always calling us trash, and now we can call them trash.
I mean, one of the biggest selling points to like the 2018 roster was the 20th year veteran Vince Carter.
Right. Yeah. Vince Carter was starting at power forward.
Bruh, I'll say this. Here's the funny thing. And for us to have such a like steep culture and like hip hop and stuff like that, and as bad as we were, we still didn't pull move like a certain northern team making a famous rapper an ambassador of our team.
Hey man, that got them a title. So.
we didn't make Young Jeezy or Big Boy or Future.
Actually, we did though. Quavo is our unofficial.
He's not an ambassador. He is not an ambassador.
He got shirts that have his name on it.
Okay, but he's not the ambassador.
I didn't choose to buy a Quavo shirt.
He's not literally sitting like right next to the bench.
Like, right. That is true. Drake will literally be getting up trying to coach people.
High-fiving players as they walk up, slapping players on the butt when they walk off the floor.
Fred, come here. Let's switch jerseys. I'm gonna get some of this run real quick.
Think they'll notice? He's standing next to the head coach. Hey, run that boxing one right here there.
Yeah, so that does it for the layup, aka the finger roll, aka jelly time, aka points in the paint. Aha!
Like Shaq.
I do love how Shaq is on our bandwagon now.
Oh man, Shaq is so funny. The money hawk.
Oh my god, yeah, that was hilarious.
Like it really needs to be said how good that show is. Because like when you tune over to NBA TV and you're like Roe Parrish and Jason Terry and who's the middle guy?
Is Dennis Scott?
No, it's Greg Anthony.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, it's like
boring.
This is so terrible. One, Roe Parrish is the worst host ever. I don't know who chose him.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, the guys on TNT, Chuck, Ernie, Kenny, and Shaq, like it's perfect.
I'll say this too. It's like sometimes I'm mad when games are on TNT because I feel compelled to watch like all the way to like 2 a.m.
Gotta keep watching.
Right. But whenever it's on ESPN, I just turn it right off. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Game over.
Click. Bedtime.
Yeah, man. That goes like, God, that would be a dream guest to have Ernie Johnson on.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'm gonna start manifesting. In the next 3 years, we're gonna have Ernie Johnson on.
Let's go.
Yeah. No. Yeah, 3 years. We'll set a long goal because that's a lofty goal there. But all right, I think that takes us to break. That was a fun segment. I really enjoyed talking about it, mainly because we're talking about winning.
This would have been really short if we had not been winning.
Yeah. Well, you're about to see what the segment's going to look like when a team's not doing well, Micah. So let's take a quick break. We'll be back here in a little bit, and yeah, stick around. right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for flying Delta. You have now landed in the Mile High City, where we will talk a little bit of baseball. Yeah, thanks for sticking around. We are now back from the break. And you hear those peanuts and Cracker Jacks? Sounds like
it's time for the suicide squeeze. So, first and foremost in baseball, Mariners reliever Hector Santiago is the first player to be ejected for violating the new sticky substance protocols.
Uh-oh.
boo, boo. Check his belt.
It's a Mariners player, so it's absolutely irrelevant to that rest of the league because Mariners are pretty bad.
They're on a young team. They got that one guy, the center fielder, Kyle. Not right. What is his name?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I just can't think of his name either.
Taylor, tell us in the comments. I know if you're still there. Let us know who I'm trying to think of. Kyle. Anyway, yeah, sorry.
Other news: Trevor Bauer was got in trouble with a little sexual assault charge, which is not his first time.
Really? That's not his first one?
I don't believe. I think I heard that it's been more than one. That he's been accused
Really?
more than once.
Yikes.
Accused. I don't know if the other one stuck, but I think this is not the first time he's been accused of sexual assault.
Do you want some of these details?
Yeah, go ahead. I didn't read all the details.
Okay, it says more details have emerged regarding the pending case of the LA Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer. It was initially reported that he assaulted a woman with limited details, and as a result, it was physical and emotional pain. Let's see. Okay, the woman said those two incidents included Bauer punching her in the face, the vagina, and buttocks, sticking his finger down her throat, and strangling her to the point where she lost consciousness multiple times. The alleged assaults described by the woman, which are extremely graphic in nature, happened during what she said began as consensual sex encounters between the two. According to the woman, blah, blah, blah. She suffered injuries as a result of the second encounter, including 2 black eyes, a bloodied, swollen lip, significant bruising and scratching to one side of her face. The woman's declaration signed under penalty of perjury in California. She said that her medical notes state that she had significant head and facial trauma and that there were signs of basilar skull fracture. She also said that in one of those incidents, while unconscious, Bauer penetrated her anally, which she did not consent to in advance. I agreed to have consensual sex. However, I did not agree or consent to what he did next. I did not agree to be sexually assaulted. Damn.
I mean, that's wow.
That's a lot.
That man needs to go to jail if this is true. And I mean, a lot of these details seem very particular, and the fact that there's medical records backing this up, it does not look good for old Trevor Bauer.
Wow.
Good thing we didn't look at him.
I was gonna say that he's always kind of reminded me of Rick Vaughn. I mean, this kind of might fit the bill a little bit more than I thought.
Lord of mercy, that's crazy.
Bruh, I can totally understand a guy who might be freaky in the bedroom, but that is absolutely ridiculous.
Right. When he first started reading, I was like, "Oh, this might be a kink thing," and then he kept going, and I was like,
"Yeah,
oh no, this is not a kink thing."
Yeah,
right.
This is far surpassed just a kink thing. It's like, goodness gracious, bro, what? Yeah, I don't have anything to say
Trevor
to that.
Bauer,
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So
Kyle Lewis. His name came to me.
On a lighter note, 4 of the participants in the home run derby have been named. They have named Shohei Ohtani, who will be the first pitcher to ever participate in a home run derby. Pete
Should have
Alonso,
been Mike Hampton.
Mike Hampton.
Hitting bombs.
Yeah, Pete Alonso, Trevor Story, and Trey Mancini. They're the first ones who've been named so far. Now there have been a bunch of notable players who have already declined, which essentially it's now like the dunk contest in the NBA, because of the players, the notable players to decline the invites were Vlad Guerrero Jr., Fernando Tatis Jr., Aaron Judge, Gary Sanchez, and Javier Baez. So it's like, God, a lot of the guys you want to see in a home run derby, most of them just said, nah, I'm good.
Right, but doesn't it make sense though? Because historically, doesn't whoever participates, especially who wins it, always go into a batting slump?
Yeah. Well, yes, because it changes your swing to hit home runs. So instead of more of a leveled out swing, you might, put
Drop
a little
that
more
back shoulder.
Yeah, drop back shoulder a little more, try to hit it out. Yeah. So, and
Who
now
you got winning that, Micah? The Derby from who's?
Is it only those four, or is that just so far?
So far, because there's typically eight. There's typically 8 contestants.
Yeah, who do you of those four though? Who you got?
Oh man, that's tough. Either Ohtani or Pete Alonso.
I would say Pete. He's a little more built for it. He's a bigger guy.
Yeah.
I feel like Ohtani's gonna catch lightning in a bottle here.
Ohtani's a pretty big guy too, though.
Yeah, let's see. What's their size difference? But yeah, keep going. Sorry.
So now Braves news, Max Fried returned tonight against the Mets, and subsequently by bringing him back to the roster, we had to send someone down, and Sean Newcomb was that guy. Yeah, I mean he struggled to stay in the majors anyway. And lastly, in Braves news, Ronnie Acuna, our favorite, one of our fan favorites, set a franchise record tonight with his 23rd career leadoff home run, and he's one of 36 players in MLB history to accomplish this feat. So that is huge.
Man, got to put some wind around this guy.
For scale here, Micah, Shohei is 6'4", 210. Pete Alonso's 6'3", 245.
Golly.
Yeah.
Pete's a big boy.
Yeah. But I mean,
a lot of punch.
That 6'4" with long arm frame though.
Yeah.
You don't have to hit it 500 feet. You just got to get it out the park. That's all. But yeah, I mean, that honestly, well, shit, I don't want to see Ronnie in a home run derby.
He already did it once, didn't he? Didn't he do it?
He did
not
it
last year. He didn't do it last. He didn't do it last year because there was none.
I think he did it 2 years ago.
Maybe 2 years ago.
Because that's when he went into that terrible slump afterward.
Yeah. No Braves. If anyone, Austin Riley, send him out there.
No, I'd send what's his name? Ender Inciarte.
Is the sacrificial lamb.
Go out there, see how many home runs you can hit, because you can't hit any worse in a game anyway.
I think there's a threshold though. It's like you gotta, like the 3-point contest in the NBA is like you have to be above a certain percentage in order to be invited.
Well,
right?
I mean, like Trevor's Story's only got 9 home runs. So
is that the lowest number?
So far of the ones they've named, like everybody.
And he plays in Colorado.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Mancini's got like 14. Pete Alonso's got like 16, I believe, and Ohtani's got like 20 something. So yeah, I mean, most of these guys have hit bombs. Trevor Story is the one who barely hit any. Like I said, throw Ender in there because you can't hit any worse. You can't hit any worse. I mean, whatever your swing is doing.
Hey, can we talk about the fact that this was supposed to be here in Atlanta though? And it's not.
Yeah.
The wildest part is that Denver is also an ID for voting state.
Right.
That's the craziest part to me. But
there was definitely some of the things he did were clearly, directed at black people. I mean, it is what it is. There's no arguing that. You don't take away those things that were popular in black neighborhoods. The ID thing, that's not racist. It kind of. It can be linked to it
towards it, but it's also not unprecedented.
Right, exactly. It caught up to some other states. I get that most non-ID carrying people are African American, in this city and especially around the nation. But it's mimicking a law that's pretty widespread.
Yeah, and not only that, but Stacey Abrams herself, within a week of that happening, was like, "Don't do this. Like, you're gonna cost us so many jobs." You know what I mean? So, I mean, both sides here didn't want that to happen, but I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, it's still Brian Kemp's fault.
Yeah.
But that concludes the suicide squeeze because the Braves is too bad that we don't want to talk about anything else.
What was his name? I like it. That should be added into it.
We should be actually,
guy.
which young guy?
The young pitcher that we just brought up. He got his first career win.
God, I'm drawing a blank on his name too. It's
damn, man.
I've kind of lost focus on him because one of the bull. What?
Braves are up 13-2.
Oh wow.
Oh, thank goodness Hawks aren't playing tonight. Yes.
Oh yeah, this is a good point. Good time to bring that up. So, if those of y'all that follow us on Instagram and Twitter, you probably saw it. I've done a little side-by-side comparison of the Hawks and the Braves schedules. So on days that they both are playing, since the Hawks have been in the playoffs, if the Braves win, the Hawks are 2-4 on those days. If the Braves lose,
or didn't play,
or had a game that was scheduled and got rained out and DNP'd, the Hawks are 8-1 on those days. So bad days ahead for the Braves for the foreseeable future. Let's see, when will the NBA Finals end?
NBA Finals will end in
like a month,
early July. No, early July. It won't even be. Yeah.
So it's about to fly through this thing after these rounds end, right?
Yeah, because it's one game, one day, and then travel days are 2.
So only when LeBron is in the finals do we take 3 days between games. Like that.
Oh, they did that for a while. They tried it for a while, and then it got such poor reception because people were like, this is too long. Like,
yeah, it was all about LeBron.
So
I mean, all the years that he was in it, yeah.
Yeah.
So can we sacrifice the Braves for another 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks, just so the Hawks can win, and then Braves, it's all you.
Yeah, go for it now. Go on your run now. Go 50-10 down the stretch.
I think we can do that for you. I think that was Snit.
I was about to say, who was that? But yeah, that makes sense. We just tried really hard and it just got away from us. And baseball.
You got to stop being a dumbass.
we were up 9-2. Bullpen just had a bad game. They gave up 8 runs in 1 inning. My God, bro.
Here are those shoulder pads, gentlemen. It's time for the Grits Blitz. Pretty much going to be a high-level rundown on what's going on in the NFL here. There's not a whole lot going on these days. It is the off-season. We're now in between camps. So now you get these, these smaller stories that aren't going to be the most exciting, but things are happening a little bit. This is typically when you see a lot of rule changes or rule introductions and meetings and things like that where they get down to the nitty-gritty and the things that make the league tick. So recently, actually 2 days ago, I believe, the days are kind of blending here together, but a man that once had a pedicure done next to me and had some of the biggest damn feet I've ever seen. Demaryius Thomas, former Georgia Tech wide receiver, 5-time Pro Bowler, 1-time Super Bowl champ. He announced his retirement, and he will retire as a Denver Bronco, as he spent all but 1 year there, or 1 year, as he went off and sought a ring. It might have been 2 years, actually. I'll have to look that up. But that man, he was one of those guys that came out of Tech, and you're like, how did Georgia Tech recruit this guy? 6'4", damn near 220 probably, or probably 210. Ran like a 4.4, 4.3, and just was an absolute beast. And like a guy you would expect to come out of a school like Alabama or like one of these SEC schools nowadays, and he comes out of a triple option offense at Georgia Tech. Same with Darren Waller. Calvin wasn't obviously there for the triple option, but yeah.
Yeah, that was what I was about to say. Like, God, he played all he caught was screens and streaks. Oh man, it was Dirk Cutter's offense all over.
I mean, he's from here though? He's from here?
Bebe is, I believe, from a small town here, if I remember right. Let's look that up. Demarius Thomas.
That's one who I could see him picking Georgia Tech.
He's from Montrose, Georgia.
Right. Maybe he was interested in engineering or something.
And he ran a 4.38 at, let's see, what was his official measurements? 6'3", 225. That is a big man moving at some speed.
Golly.
But yeah, dude was otherworldly talented. Came in, took the league by storm there for a little bit. Really special guy, and he was the guy that scored that touchdown for Tim Tebow. The one that Tim Tebow gets all the credit for, but it really was all Demarius Thomas and breaking that play and scoring it.
I don't remember like that.
Where he threw a punt with Tim Tebow threw his punt.
Demarius was like, "This will do. I'm out."
That was the power of the Lord. I don't know what y'all saw.
Yeah, that's what it was. Let me close this bad juju Trevor Bauer tab that I had open. Good Lord.
Oh my God.
So, as most leagues are doing nowadays, the NFL has announced their new protocols for this upcoming season.
Cole Beasley hates it.
Hey, not untrue. So, vaccinated players will not have to test daily. They will have to still wear masks around the facility. Or on travel, like most people do nowadays. If you're going to go on like an airplane, it's still probably a good idea to wear a mask, even if COVID's over, because airplanes are gross.
And so are people.
Yeah, like if you're in first class and someone sneezes in the back, guess what? That sneeze is going to go up into the ducts, and you're going to get that sneeze here pretty soon, fella. It doesn't matter how much you paid for your ticket, but. Where was I at? They have to socially distance from other vaccinated teammates, have to quarantine after high-risk exposure, will have no travel restrictions, may eat in the team cafeteria with other vaccinated players, may use team saunas and steam rooms, and may interact. Bryce, what are you doing? I'm reading that section. Why are you adding words?
I was wondering seeing his cursor jumping around. I was like, what's he about to do? He's not about to change something.
Oh, they will not have to wear masks around the team facilities. During travels. Okay, so an important.
I was about to say that seemed a little weird. That seemed like a weird rule.
Yeah, so I was about to say if you're vaccinated, why are you in your facility having to wear it? But so you're not going to have to wear that or during travel. Still wear it on the plane, gentlemen. It's still gross.
Right. You're going to have a few players who are going to say, "Oh, I'm vaccinated," get a fake card and just be like, "Yeah, I'm vaccinated."
Yeah, you've seen those cards, especially here in Atlanta.
Did y'all see that video of the what was it, like a soccer player or something? He was trying to like get on the plane, some foreign country, and the policeman came up and saw he had fake credentials and like slapped the shit out of him.
Good.
They arrested him.
Like if you're unvaccinated, be unvaccinated. May use team saunas and steam rooms, may interact with vaccinated family and friends during team travel. On the opposite side, unvaccinated players will have to test daily, wear masks at all times, distance at all times, will have to quarantine after exposure, and have the team travelers may not dine in the cafeteria. So pretty much the opposite of everything that the vaccinated players are doing. They're trying to incentivize vaccination for their players.
To make their lives hell.
Whereas, players like Cole Beasley, he's going to be a pretty lonely guy this season.
He might retire.
Well, yeah, he said he'd rather retire than do that. But I don't know, man. On that Bills team, you're an important piece. It's a good team this year. I highly doubt he retires.
I don't mind them taking a step back.
Yeah, that'd be nice. But he actually made a post. He posted on Instagram. and it said, "Hi, I'm Cole Beasley, and I'm not vaccinated." He called it a public service announcement, obviously taking a dig at those people that went and posted all of their vaccination cards, but also in direct response to these league rules. He went on to say, "I will be outside doing what I do. I will be out in the public. If you're scared of me, then steer clear or get vaccinated. Point blank, period. I may die of COVID, but I'd rather die actually living." And I think it's very important to say that being vaccinated is your choice. It's your personal choice.
Not on Twitter.
Well, I mean, it is anywhere. Like, people that like get onto you for not being vaccinated, they're ridiculous. I'm a vaccinated person. I understand, Marco, that you are not. That is your choice.
Why are you calling me out, man? What is this?
I think you've...
What is this?
You've made it very clear about your opinions on
here?
Vaccinations on this show. Like, that's your choice. Like, people who would get onto you that are dumb.
It was funny though, like when he initially came out a couple weeks ago and Twitter was ratioing him, and I know someone brought the whole video up where he was in Dallas and he was like, "Yo, Dak, I'm like a dog, man. I don't got to stretch. I don't got." And Dak is like, "I'm pretty sure dogs do stretch."
Right. Yeah. Let's get going. But yeah, it's your choice. It's like, however, these businesses and your employer has the right to enforce rules that they see fit that is best for their business. So you play for the Buffalo Bills, who is a part of the National Football League. If the National Football League, as a private entity, chooses to say, if you want to play in my league, you got to be vaccinated, they have every right to do so. That is capitalism. That is a free market. What many of the people that are unvaccinated love to yell about and their rights, guess what? As a private entity, the NFL has the right to do that. So,
yeah, we told the same thing to Kaepernick.
Yeah, they really would have. So if you're vaccinated, great. You're doing a good job. You know, there are some parts to it that do all that, but it's also everyone's choice whether to get vaccinated or not. Stop being a bully about it. Marco's not vaccinated, in case y'all didn't hear.
Why you keep on calling me out?
And he still comes over to my house.
What kind of slander piece is this?
In other news,
I just want to say it because a lot of people.
Hold on,
I feel like
when your spotlight here. All right,
yeah, I think when people assume that you're not vaccinated, they think that there's some type of like uncared, cavalier, aura to you. But what I want people to know is that before y'all were even worried about COVID, I've been very cautious of viruses. I've been very cautious of not letting. So my stance on this is that I'm already careful. So yeah. I don't necessarily need that to protect myself because I haven't had a virus or a sickness in about 3 years now. So
I'd like to say that Marco is a well-known anti-vaxxer. He has spoken out on
vaccinations
many times, many years.
Just not on social media.
He's very critical of people who do get vaccinations. I'm telling you, he's judgy. He judges.
What is this? I've never been critical.
This is not
of
me.
anybody.
I didn't do it.
I've never been critical of anybody who got it.
What I was going to say was actually that Marco's a very well-read, very educated person.
All my favorite people have vaccinations.
He's judgy.
Yeah, in other news about vaccinated people, Kyle Pitts signed a 4-year, $32.9 million fully guaranteed contract.
God
with
damn. Julio probably like...
Right.
Wow, man.
So, I mean, these fully guaranteed contracts are the new thing, man. If you're a first-round pick, if you're really a first 3 or 4 round pick, I would say you're probably going to get a fully guaranteed contract nowadays.
Is there any perspective on that? Is this unprecedented? Or is this?
There was quite a few players last year that got fully guaranteed contracts. I believe Joe Burrow's is. I want to say
Trevor.
I don't know. Trevor
had a huge signing bonus, but
Trevor's more than likely is fully guaranteed or close to it. I'll look into that as we get a little bit further down the road. Or if Bryce, anybody y'all want to look that up, let us know in the comments. But that concludes our draft class. We have now signed every player in our draft draft class, and it's funny. We worked from the back to the front. I guess they had an idea of what Kyle was going to ask for, and they had to fit everybody else in. But that still leaves us, with that eight or so million to sign somebody. So in camp here, you'll probably see us bring in a prove it deal type of guy because of that money, and you might see some guys getting cut in other cities of us bringing them in, and that'll be nice.
One question: was Frank Darby's contract fully guaranteed?
No. As a 6th-round pick, I highly doubt it.
No way.
I can
Frank
almost
Darby
say
it.
no with 100% confidence.
Frank Darby deserves it. He's the heart and soul of this team.
I would assume that he probably got an increase of signing bonus just because of the way he's shown out for us. But
heart and soul
doubtful.
of the team.
I mean, hey, everybody needs one. It was your boy, the linebacker. He played special teams. He was a 2nd string or 3rd string middle linebacker. Had a real deep
Walker. Michael Walker?
No.
Or
Leroy Reynolds. Yeah. He was that type of guy for us there for a while. So
how often do rah guys end up not being good?
Pretty often.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly.
More often.
Yeah, I mean, but like they're not necessarily like great players, but they'll stay on rosters because they're
good
can be useful.
Team guys.
Yeah, they're good team guys. They can be, backups, solid backups, give you good reps on scout team and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't think Darby is a rah guy though. I think he's just a happy guy.
I'm happy. I'm drafted. Yeah.
Are you excited? I'm excited.
I get to play football.
I was sweating so hard during his interview because of how excited he was. I was like, "Damn, man, you're just standing around your apartment." And he's just like,
well, we did have a rah guy that turned out to be a complete bust.
Who?
Get to the fucking quarterback.
Oh, God.
Good old Tack McKinley. Rah guy that just was like, oh, this dude is garbage.
Right. But I wonder if he is, because besides that outlandish press thing when he got drafted, I don't ever remember him ever being any kind of like outspoken voice in any other faculty except the day he got drafted.
Yeah, that was just an emotional outpouring.
Right, and then being on Twitter, I'm gonna cut my hair if I don't get 10 sacks. Like,
Yeah,
all right,
that.
Cat Master.
He never cut his hair, did he?
Cat Master.
People called him out left and right for that.
He's like, oh, that season didn't count.
He cut one dread, is what he wound up doing.
Nah.
Boo.
He talked like a rah guy. He always had something to say, and he never lived up to any of the things he said.
Speaking of talkers, why were you laughing so hard at Mohamed Sanu's running videos?
Bro, if I sent that to y'all on Instagram, y'all know. But Mohamed, I fully support him as a player. I loved him, all that. But he's getting up there and he's slowing down quite a bit. If you watch the videos that he posted to his Instagram, he's doing quickness drills and explosiveness drills. And that first one, he was doing about like a 25-yard sprint, maybe 40. Maybe we just caught the end of it. That man's hands were moving. He's like, and those legs are doot. And I was like, oh God, he looks so slow now. But man, if you saw like a waist up video of Sanu on that video, you'd be like, he is moving. Doing. I was like, good God. Every form, like every video on there, his form is so jacked, like not jacked up, but it just looks so funny.
Right. Well, he was doing some long stride stuff that I've never really seen.
That's like a track thing.
Yeah, that is like, it's almost like what hurdlers do, just to lengthen your stride so you cover more ground.
But it looks so unnatural.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he looked like he was moving so slow. He was short striding everything. He was.
Yeah.
Man,
So-
all I know is, like, bruh, his arms were pumping about 3 times per every step that he was taking. I told Ryan, I said, man, he needs that stuff, but like he looks like he wants to move fast, but yeah, his feet just ain't doing it.
He's like a locomotive. You know how you trains, you have to move your arms to go past it.
On an elliptical.
Come around the train.
What do we got here? Oh, so recently the NFL announced that as far as uniforms go, there will be a change here, and they will be allowing teams 2 helmet choices
Ooh.
for it. So that's going to open up some very interesting color choices, especially for teams like us who have a pretty cool color scheme and some pretty cool throwback helmets as well. Those all reds. I would love to see them make an appearance in there. Maybe. But the thing is, you have to announce them. You can't just be like, well, it's going to be these 2, or it's going to be these 2.
Why are their rules so stringent about that? Like,
They've always been real stringent about
uniformity is so big.
Yeah.
I wonder why though. Is it just because we say so, or is there like a practical reason?
I think
it's merchandise.
Yeah, merchandising.
No one's buying helmets.
Well, I mean, it's more so on that, but also selling your players as a uniform thing, and you just professionalism.
Because you think it'd be like the NBA, where the NBA be like, we're coming out with 5 jerseys this season.
The NBA's got it right. I mean, honestly.
But like, think about it from this perspective. The NFL, like the NBA moves it's all about the players. It's a players league. The NFL is about the teams. Yeah. Players are interchangeable. The teams and the logos are what is important to the NFL and management. So
okay, yeah. So like putting the Falcons retro logo, I guess is like, okay, why y'all doing that? I understand.
Yeah, it's all about the brands.
Exactly. So my question is, do y'all have any particular helmets that y'all want to see? I know we don't have a ton, but there's been quite a few iterations of the Falcons helmet thus far. Is there any particular one that stands out and you'd like to see, and like with what combination?
Like you said, the reds. I want to see the red helmet with the red jersey. Not the. I'm talking about like 80s, 90s, not the early 2000s one.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see that early Dion jersey, that early red Dion jersey. I don't think we'll bring that back though, but
we should.
If I'd say the red helmet with the black Falcon, unless we can come up with some cool white helmet or something that's like new and better looking.
A white base with a black Falcon with a red lining on it.
Yeah, something like that. That'd just like pop and be cool. That matches that new kind of jersey. But other than that, just the red. Haven't we worn those red helmets before?
I feel like 2-3 years ago with the black tops and the gray pants.
Yeah, with the old logo and everything.
Yeah, those. I love that red helmet. It's really nice. I wouldn't want it to be our full-time helmet, but it looks really cool to throw in there as an alternate.
It reminds me that we have a history, even though it's not a history of any winning. It's just like,
hey, look, we are in the Grits Blitz. You will respect that history.
Play like that London game. I would love to rock that in the London game.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be pretty sick. That would. I wonder if the NFL would want them to do that.
What time will we have to get up for that London game?
Like 9 a.m. I think is typically when you see it.
I know when Tampa played 2 years ago. Who was it? Tampa,
Jacksonville, was it?
I think it was Jacksonville, because everybody was saying that's who they want to move over there.
Yeah, because they did most of them. I think it was Tampa and Jacksonville, if I remember right.
I just remember Jameis threw a bunch of picks that game, and they wound up losing.
Not shocking. I'm going to go on air. I know I've said this to you guys, but I'm going to go on official record that Jameis Winston is going to ball out next season. It is book it.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen. Okay, so it was the Bears versus it was the Panthers versus
Panthers. Yeah, it was Panthers.
Oh, it was a division game on the road, or
there was actually 4 of them. There was the Bears, Raiders, Panthers, Bucks, Bengals, Rams, and Texans.
Yeah, that's
Texans
what it was.
Who?
Jaguars.
Yeah.
So 2 division games that were on the road.
Yeah, because I remember Christian McCaffrey went off that game, and Jameis threw like 3 picks in the second half.
Man, that's gotta be terrible. You lose a home game, but it's also a home division game.
Right, and in London. But then there's the Jets, Falcons this year, and Dolphins, Jaguars.
The Jets are going to be an interesting team to look at. I don't know how much of an improvement they're going to make.
We're gonna smoke them.
I hope so. I think we should, but I don't know what to think about this Falcons team yet. I can go.
Dan Quinn's not back there, so just be positive.
I know, but I go either way. So that actually leads me to my question to end the Grits Blitz for you gentlemen. And I'm going to leave it intentionally vague, and you can answer it however which way you like. So the question is, what does a successful Falcons team look like this year? So I'm going to give you a second to think about that. And, you can answer, and you can answer about roster, stats, whatever that triggered in your mind, I want to hear it. So, Micah, what does the 2021-22 Falcons team look like to you if it is successful?
So first and foremost, I think offensively we get our balance back. Running game is successful. You keep Matt 25 pass attempts or less in a game somewhere, so which would be around 400 or so passes on the season. I think if you and the running the ball, the ability to run the ball and balance out the offense keeps the defense more fresh and allows the defense to do what they need to do more and not be us not as be as reliant as we have been at times on the defense to make key stops to keep us in games. I think offense will move the ball and move the chains and eat up clock, and defense will make stops because they're not as tired and they're not 3 and out. Oh, got to go back out there and make another stop. So I think that's what it is. Do we get the balance back, and it helps the defense stay fresh and be able to compete, and we improve in areas that we struggled in the past, i.e. Special teams, because now we actually have some talent at the return spots. So
two of them, two really good returners.
Mm-hmm.
Marco,
mine's pretty simple.
Oh,
mine's pretty simple. I just think seeing a team that can put together 4 quarters in every game, because that's something we have not seen from our Falcons consistently. We'll always start off hot and then peter out and drop 21 the first half and then score a field goal in the second half. Or what I mean? We always do things like that. And if we can see a team, even if it's just a little bit more balanced than just starting ridiculously hot and then petering out, if we could just have balanced games through all 4 quarters, then I think that's what a winning season looks like for the Falcons. The Hawks.
Get your mind off your other bird friends. I think mine's kind of a blend of y'all's. I think a big thing for me is, again, seeing improvement, seeing consistency from our coaches and it reflecting upon the players. Too many times have we been watching games and just watched things that happen on the field that shouldn't happen on the field over and over again for an NFL squad. They weren't consistent. You watch the Saints, granted Sean Payton's not the best coach in certain aspects, but his teams rarely beat themselves. Obviously Bill Belichick's a different animal. Andy Reid teams, they are consistent. When they run plays, they execute their plays. You can tell, okay, that's something they worked on a lot. It wasn't why the hell are we throwing a screen here? Dirk Cutter, what are you doing? Or why are we, still in man and this guy's getting burned all game? Give him some help. Why aren't we blitzing? And, obviously, as soon as we saw that the Falcons team blitz, they changed completely last year. So, yeah, I think a huge thing for me is just seeing Arthur Smith and Dean Pease leave their stamp on a team and make them look like a real NFL football team. That someone's consistent and they try and they compete. Too many times did you see us just, with the talent we had, not compete hard enough in certain areas. So that's a big thing. And I think, developing rookies, seeing these guys get in there, seeing the future of our team get in there and start to get some play time. I'd love to see Jalen Mayfield, and I'd love to see Richie Grant get out there and really start to show out. And, of course, Kyle Pitts and Darby, if possible, if he, does that. And really start to see what this team's going to be. I think my optimism typically gets the best of me here, but, I think this is going to be like, at best, 7-10, 8-9 type of team this year. If we ball out, we have enough talent that it could be a different type of season, but I just think that's where we are.
I have a question for Micah. Mm-hmm. You said that Matt Ryan under 25 attempts per game, like
25 or less.
He's never done that in his career, has he? I mean, they don't have the stat, but I'm doing the math here. And if you do, he had 626 attempts last year, divided by 16 is about 40 attempts per game. The lowest he's ever had was his rookie year, which was about 27 attempts per game with 434 total attempts. So I don't know how he would ever do that.
I don't see 25 and under for the whole season. That'd be crazy.
Now, granted, I think there'll be games where he goes over, but I think if we balance out the offense and run the ball a lot more effectively, like, with Turner, like when we had Turner, he ran the ball a lot. He had a lot of 300-plus touches. I think we have enough backs in the backfield. We have ways that we can run the ball a lot more and a lot more effectively, move the chains. And I don't think we necessarily have where, like, Turner could bust. He could not. The one thing that people didn't know is, like, Turner with big plays. He made a lot of big plays, so he scored a lot. I think we can eat out drives and 4 yards in a cloud of dust. Essentially, if we can do that to teams, it's going to take them down to, like, and maybe 25 is too, maybe 30 under 30,
like 33
game.
I say about
'cause I was about to say, even with Tennessee, like with the best run game, Tannehill still averaged almost 31 a game.
I think technically, what's his name had the best run game? Baltimore. But
but they're different. Like you got to classify them differently.
You can't count that. It's like saying the Cardinals had.
How many did what's his name have last year? Baker Mayfield. How many did he average? I wonder, because they were very run heavy too.
He missed some games too. Let's see.
Yeah, he played. Well, he had played the full 16.
Wow.
He would have been a little bit like 28, probably about 28.
Yeah. Because that was they had a two-headed monster and they ran.
But Mayfield also actually sucks, so that's not a good. No, it was 30, so he averaged around 30 again.
Well, but it sucks or not, it doesn't matter. If you run the ball effectively, you don't need to throw the ball, 40 plus times a game. And like you said it yourself, the less Matt throws the ball,
True.
the less he has to throw the ball, the better chances we have to win. And I feel like Arthur Smith is going to come in here and he's going to emphasize building that run and establishing the run and pounding the run on teams, like basically brutalizing them into submission and imposing our will on folks. And especially late in games down the stretch when we need to run the clock out, he's not going to be Kyle Shanahan and just be airing the ball out. Now he might do a play action here and there, but he's going to run the ball when we need to. When we have a lead late in the game, he's going to find creative ways to to effectively run the ball, so we don't have to risk putting it in the air and potentially turning the ball over.
Quick update: the Braves are now up 20-2.
We waste all our runs in single games.
Well, they scored 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals. So and we unfortunately we gave up a safety. Yeah, it was rough, man. But yeah, they're playing a good offensive game and they're solid.
Man, who's going off for us?
Ozzy
has 7
RBIs. I was about to say that.
5 or 6.
Here's the funny thing. We have to score all those runs because there's still a chance that our bullpen could give up.
Right. It'll be like 20-16.
Oh my God.
Good night. This Reed Foley guy pitched a third of an inning and gave up 4 earned runs. Goodbye ERA. But yeah, that's the end of the grit splits for us. We do not have a lightning round question, and no one gave us one.
Interesting tidbit. I heard the Hawks may wear their MLK jerseys on the road. Tomorrow.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting.
Well, if the Bucks play in their city jerseys, we would then wear ours.
There's those ugly blue ones. Is that their city jersey?
I don't think if they wear blue, I don't think we could wear black.
Yeah, we can't be 2 dark colors.
I thought it just had to be.
Gotta have a light and a dark.
I think I saw
their
Conti
blue
post this.
Oh, they have a yellow one though. Oh no, they have Dream City as well.
Their jerseys are so ugly.
They really are. Or Cream City.
I mean, they have a deer as their mascot. I mean,
fear the deer.
How creative can you truly be with?
Go back to the purple.
Those are sick.
Yeah,
I like those. I think they're only sick though because they're retro and they're the 90s.
Because I didn't like them back then, but they look better now compared to what they have.
The Ray Allen Bucks.
Yeah, the Glenn Robinson.
Green and purple. Yeah. What a weird color combination. We're going to be the Bucks, and we're going to be green, purple, and white. I'm like, what?
It's like Prince.
Well, I mean, the Hornets. The Hornets are...
Yeah, that's true. There are some strange color combinations for teams.
Hornets, that teal, though, killed the 90s, though. Everybody wanted to have it.
That Hornets jersey with the angry Hornet was sick.
Yeah.
And the starter jacket. I was about to say, like, goodness, everybody wanted that.
Every kid had that, I feel like.
Every kid had a Hornet starter jacket. I don't know why that was so popular in the 90s. Was it Muggsy?
It had to be Grandma.
Bro, you had Muggsy, Larry Johnson. Yeah, Grandma was popular back then.
Alonzo.
Oh, yeah, Alonzo was on that team. I forgot about that.
Then Kendall Gill.
Yeah, Kendall Gill was pretty popular for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the Hawks are about to be that for the youth?
Doubtful.
What?
I think so because I'm already seeing a lot more kids dribbling.
I love Trae. I love Trae, and I think a lot of kids will relate to Trae. But I think that the media will try so hard to poison the minds against Trae.
All the more reason for people to like us, though, when the media is doing it.
I mean, after this year, I don't think Trae's ever going to miss another All-Star game. I don't think that's ever happening again.
Yeah, I mean, God, what a disgrace that he didn't make it this year.
Yeah.
A disgrace.
Well, the true disgrace is that guy who's sitting at home after leading us to a 14-20 start and blowing all those leads. That's the true disgrace.
I wonder if he has a Twitter. Let's see. Lloyd Pierce, social media.
Let's bring him on.
Imagine. Like, how would you feel if you coached the team and they were terrible? You get fired, and then the coach takes over that same team with no real roster adjustments, and then they just take off.
I bet he just makes a lot of excuses all the time. Like,
Trae didn't listen to me like that.
Everybody was hurt, but Lloyd, let's be real. The team hated you, bro. Let's be real.
I mean,
Trae didn't play that hard for me.
They freaking hated you, bro. Like,
probably because you were talking trash about him to his face.
Oh wow! Here's some news on Lloyd Pierce. Warriors rumors: former Hawks head coach Lloyd Pierce being considered for Steve Kerr's staff.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Kerr's the guy who's gonna read. Wasn't he one of the ones who all came out and tried to or was it Popovich and it was Carlisle? I think. I forget
For
whoever.
what?
Remember when he got fired? Everybody was, "Oh, he's such a good guy."
Oh,
What a shame that they did.
I
Like,
do
who cares how?
remember that, yeah.
how
I think
you
that
are?
was Pop.
I think it was Rick Carlisle and Pop. But yeah, I mean that makes sense. He's gonna go get another job to talk shit about. He can't talk shit to Steph like he tried to talk shit to Trae.
Oh God.
I told you, man. Trae broke his ankles in front of his own wife, and he never forgave
I'm
him.
so emasculated.
That was funny. Lou Will was on Gilbert Arenas' podcast.
Oh, that was a good episode.
By the way, Gilbert Arenas don't let anybody talk. Like he literally doesn't let anybody else talk. But you heard that thing he said where he was like, one of his coaches tried to talk to him, and they pulled up his stats, and they were like, "Bro, you were trash. You can't say shit to me." I think he was talking about Ty Lue. When Ty Lue was the assistant last year.
They would know Ty Lue's stats, but yeah. Because, I mean, I think a lot of people think Ty Lue was better than he was, like if you don't remember his career.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
That's the sad thing. Because at one point, he was nicknamed the closer in Atlanta. That lets you know how bad we were.
Right. He was like tiny, big ass shorts, big ass braids. That's all I remember about Ty.
And I mean, he's most remembered for the Iverson incident. Like,
Right.
Let's see. His career high was 13.5 points per game, which is okay. But that was here in Atlanta in 04-05.
Right. That's why he was the closer.
Yikes. Yeah, since there is no lightning round question, it seems, unless y'all can come up with one in 3, 2, 1.
I feel that banter was our lightning round.
Yeah, same. That's what I was gonna say. Is I think that fills that need, but
we'll have one next week.
Can I give a shout? Can I give a shout out right now?
No, we don't do that here.
Shout out to Disney. Loki, new episode of Loki comes on tonight. It is an amazing show. Like I know Ryan said it, I think last week or so, but if you haven't watched, please watch. It is a very good show.
It is par excellence. Very good show. But yeah, we are Fish and Grits. I'm Ryan. This is Marco, and that is Micah. And we will be back, depending on the Hawks schedule. You know, Tuesday or Wednesday next week.
Marco doing Blue Steel.
And yeah, if you haven't, go tell all your friends, all your family about us, and give us a like, a subscribe, leave us some comments, follow us on social media. If you've been watching, you have seen our little social medias pop up throughout, but if you have not, we're at Fish and Grits Podcast on Instagram, which we will probably be changing that as well, since we have just changed our logo or our name here. At Fish and Grits the podcast on Twitter, and of course you're here, so you know what it is here. But thanks for watching, and we are out of here. Peace.
Peace.
And if you like